Hello, everyone. Let's see how long it's going to take a few people to get in. I'm just getting on for a few minutes. I'm just checking in. Let me see who's going to get on. As a matter of fact, I'll probably be on like 20 minutes. And I just wanted to get on for some words of encouragement. I kind of got finished early today with um, some of the paperwork that I had to do. And I went and met a friend for lunch. And from Kimberly Wilson. Hold on one second. That was Kim. Hello, Shanshan. Hello, Marlon. Um, Hello, Lynn. And like I said, I was just getting on for a few minutes. Like I said, I went, I got done with some of the paperwork that I had to do today over at the office. Hello, Miss Monica, Miss Maria, Miss Lynn, Marion. No, that's Marlon. And I went and met a friend for lunch today. Um, and in the conversation that we had, and with the conversation that we had, I was talking about some stuff, that I was getting ready to do, and it came down to, know your worth. And hello, rest in peace, young Dolph. And we kind of talked about young Dolph for a few minutes. I'm gonna get into that, but and it was kind of encouraging to me, we was talking about of course you all know I own a private investigative firm and I do a lot of investigative work, right? um, People call me private entities, and I do a lot of work for the government, right? Such as background checks. I work with some of the federal prosecutors when there's cases that are Fed cases, sometimes even with the Shelby County Prosecutor's Office when they outsource work, you know. And we was talking about knowing your worth, and we was talking about how how sometimes people get burned out, because they take they're too afraid to ask for what they are worth. you know for me, God is good, so I don't take cases if the money ain't right, because I know how hard the work is, and then I go hard, and I got some of the hardest investigators there are, and they don't come cheap either. I want the best, and so I pay them with their worth, you know. And one of the things that he was saying is you never know if you don't ask, and some people are just full of talent, and but they take the bare minimum and then they get burned out, you know. They get burned out and they get discouraged, and that we was having a conversation over lunch, and that's kind of, it was kind of profound. I was like, let me get on here and kind of encourage some people, because I know that there are a lot of people that have businesses that do work. You don't ever know, especially when people appreciate your work and they know that you're good at what you do, and they might, like I said, there are some cases that I've taken. Every case is hard to me, or not hard. I go hard on every case, and I know my worth, and I got some of the hardest investigators that there ever were, because they come from other agencies. They're retired now, and but there are people that are full of talent, and they take the bare minimum. But I got on here to encourage you all to just go hard. Forget about what other people say. People would try and discourage you. That's what they do, especially when they see that you thank you, Miss Lynn. Especially when they see that you are a threat. See, a lot of times when you are in the fight, when you're in the battle, you talk about um the profession that I'm in is mostly white male dominated. Oftentimes when people walk into my office, they are completely shocked to see that I'm a female black that owns a PI firm, because it's extremely hard to get in Memphis, in the Tennessee area, anywhere now, because they have it regulated everywhere. And so it's male white dominated. And for a long time, a lot of people was like, well, I don't think, especially when I first started, the male, they kind of got it sewn up, but I can't tell you how a lot of African American attorneys, especially, and I have a lot of white attorneys that are my clients now, would light up when I would walk into a room, when I was out on the pavement promoting what I had going on. And um so you never, and that was another thing we talked about. You never know unless you ask. And if you don't believe in yourself, nobody else will. Some people don't want you to believe in yourself. You talking about, and even now, because even now, and I respect all of the other investigative companies that are around me. Sometimes we work together, you know, because my investigators and their investigators, we will work together, especially when it's something real, real big and we all get paid. Um, you know, don't let any don't dim your light just because somebody else feel like they are supposed to shine, or just because somebody else want to get all the shine and they are afraid of your shining, of you shining. Always remember, people can see a light on you before you can see it. They see the potential, they see the light, and they will become threatened or afraid. Okay? Always remember that. They will become threatened or afraid, and they will try and discourage you, but know your worth also. Whatever it is that you're worth, don't be afraid to ask for it, because if they come to you, trust me, they know your worth. They know your worth. My dad was a hardcore businessman, and this is what the advice he always gave to me when I would be upset and I would go, "Dog, they came in here with my production company, especially." I would say they came in here and they asked me that because they asked me for a discount just because I'm a woman. They tried to do that to me, and I wouldn't let them get over, but I would be angry. My dad said, "Let me tell you something. You think I got this far being mad?" He said, "Let me tell you something. Their job is to, you can't be mad at them. Their job as a business person is to try to get everything that they can out of you for the bare minimum." Okay? He said, "That's their job." He said, "Your job is to make sure that they don't." Y'all don't discourage you, and people will respect you better when they see that they can't get over on you, that you're gonna keep it business, and then you can turn some stuff down. Okay, well, because a lot of times they already know your worth. They're not gonna let you walk out that door because they appreciate what you do. They know you got the talent, but they understand oftentimes that you don't. And so we was kind of having that conversation, and I wanted to get on here and encourage some people because, like I said, I don't have a dogmatic personality. I don't, and I've been through some things. I have been through some things in my life because I was a person, I always wanted to see everybody win. And when I promise you, it's like, because I was like, okay, I felt like at a point, and I see kind of where my girls, especially my oldest girl, she's very outgoing. Though she's a lot more outgoing than I ever was because I was always quiet and watchful. But I always felt like, okay, if this person is cool with me, I kind of want to keep them on the level that I'm on. But sometimes people are jealous. I mean, back then when I was coming up, it was just the women. These men got some kind of hormonal imbalance where now they compete with the women. Their thing is to try to come up off of the women. A lot of them, not all of them. That's why I gravitate to strong-minded, manly men, because most men don't have time to be competing with women, trying to belittle women. Um, I don't deal with men like that don't have issues with when they get angry. That's an emotionally unstable person. With calling women all out of their name, it's something about that that's just real sick to me. The men that I came up around, they was just soldiers. They didn't do stuff like that. But I used to do that. Like I wanted to always help people. Like I said, my dad was a politician for 20 years. So at one time I was in a position where I could help people get jobs, and the people that I helped to get jobs, they were the ones that ultimately tried to cut me in my back and try to get my dad pulled in some stuff. So they was actually trying to use me because my dad was the man. They was using me, and I thought that it was my job. I was like, well, my dad is in a position and I got to help my community. These people are hungry. And I understood that through me that they tried to get my dad caught up because I was the closest thing to my dad. But for me, I felt like I'm supposed to just help because my dad is in this position to help people get jobs. People try to cut me in my back, but it was all a learning experience. So I said that to say this: be watchful and then don't worry about people. That's why I'm real calm, because at 43 years old, I've seen some stuff. I know my Bible. I remember those very people that tried to get me caught up and my dad caught up around his election. How you doing, player Cole? I remember, and this scripture always sticks with me. God says, when I get them back for what they did to you, I meditate on this every single day. I keep this with me. He says, when I get them back, you're going to see me get them back. All those very people that tried to come up against me because they tried to use me to get to my dad, because they know I was just like, I want to help. But God, when I found out what they was doing, he says, when I get them back, you're going to see me get them back. It was like a domino effect. God started getting them back. That's why I don't worry about people. I know how to pray. I understand how powerful words are. So that's why even in this virtual world, I have a lot of people that have my back. I was getting threats left and right. It was all good. My people was like, don't worry about it. We're going to tap in and see who they are. And it helped their case. They was able to do that, even with this young Dolph situation. That's why you don't see me spin the narrative a whole lot. I'm not out there investigating the young Dolph's case. I'm not out there, but I do know people that know about this case. And that's why I say it gives me a lot of solace when I can say they working the hell out of this case and Dolph is going to get some justice. You don't see me changing the narrative a whole lot because they understand who was involved in this, even though they have not said anything. And I think I dropped some jewels last night when I said there was a order. And that's because somebody told me this. And this ain't heard no case. There was, so if somebody that works at the police department told me this, that means they know. These folks know. That's why you don't hear me say a whole lot, because I understand what they're doing. Okay, I'm an investigator too, so I understand what they're doing. But it was an order that young Dolph did not, whoever it was that sent the order, said that he better not walk out that cookie store. Now, if the police know that, they know a whole lot more, right? And the person just kind of slipped and said that. Yeah, man, it was an order that he not walk out that store, out that cookie shop. That's why you don't see me accusing a lot of people. I just kind of let the police do their job and the federal agents, because they are doing that. And I know when it don't make sense to us, when it don't make sense, that's when they're working at their best. So I just don't, I truly want justice for him. And I truly pray for the people that are investigating this, because believe it or not, they need strength. They do. This is a cesspool. Like, this thing is really, really big. You're dealing with a lot of money and everything, you know. They know who their targets are. They know exactly who their people are. Okay? They know exactly who their people are. And I don't get agitated, because I understand on this red app that it's entertainment. Everybody do their thing, But I truly want justice for Dolph. I truly do. I want justice for him. Let's see. Magnane Mace, a tastemaker. Our relationships require effort, no matter what type of relationship it is, a loving relationship, a friendship, a business relationship. They all require effort. That's absolutely right. That's absolutely right, tastemaker. But I was thinking about that when having lunch with like what I said, with one of my friends today. And it's so easy, y'all, because everybody ain't the same. Like I said, I know I worked for a total of 18 years together. I had worked for both police departments. And there are some good officers, there are some good investigators. Like a lot of these new ones that are on the street, I don't know all of them, but a lot of the ones that I work with and I rode with over on MPD side, they're now investigators, and I do know that one is working his butt off, okay, the lead one. And so he's leading his team, that are co-working with him, and they've gained a lot of momentum in this Dow's case. And you know, I, hey, it's not going to be overnight. It's not going to be overnight. But facts, he deserve it. Yeah, Dolph deserve it. He do. I want to see. Anytime you take a man down, forget he was selling weed or whatever. I don't know. That's what they say. But people sell weed every day. People they smoke it. Shoot, I mean, they've made it legal in so many places. It shouldn't even be a crime. So even if he was selling weed, I don't know. But whatever he was doing, if he was not a threat to you, they had no business taking him down, y'all. They didn't, and they took him down basically for nothing, because all of this stuff that people been paid to put out about youngster's brother, and that's something that people kind of put into the atmosphere to confuse the people. Okay, I understand the smoke screens, because then people won't be so mad and they won't demand justice so much. They won't focus so much. It kind of softens them. Well, maybe if that did happen, I guess I could understand. It ain't no understanding. That didn't happen. I'm telling you it didn't. You know, um, abilities to help the elders in the neighborhood. I don't feel alive if I don't. Amen. Um, Psalms 56, a prayer to Jehovah to help you fight your battles. Absolutely, Iris and James. Hello, Miss Lachelle. But yeah, y'all, it's enough. My thing is, it's enough. And I think that's why God gives me an overflow. It's enough out there for everybody. I don't get into a crab feast unless I do like, I do like the blue crabs. I eat crab legs sometimes. I like the blue crab, but I just don't get into that crabs in a bucket mentality thing. You know what I mean? And with my abilities, everybody has a different gift. You know what I mean? Like, I just don't get into a whole lot of back and forth stuff. I just don't. It takes me off of my focus. Okay, it takes me off of my focus. Brains and beauty, and you have it all live from thank you, Miss Finley 75. Thank you so much. You know, yeah, but I don't get into that. I don't. I think in our community sometimes, you know, we don't know how to salute each other. We get afraid. We like to try to steal ideas and um or whatever when we're all uniquely made. Like I said, I can give anybody props, you know, for what they do. I've always been like that. It don't take bread off of my table. It don't, because God provides more than enough for me. Okay. And when I'm dealing with people's lives, and I take that seriously, when I'm dealing with people's lives, I'm not easy to accuse people that I know had no involvement in something, just if because it may be beneficial to me. I just don't roll like that. And I think our people have to change that. Y'all hit the like button, but our people have to change that. But like I said, I had lunch with my friend today. Of course, he is an investigator. I'm talking about over at MPD, and we had a heart to heart talk, and a lot of these people need prayer, because they put their hearts. Each individual is different. People put their hearts into stuff because they want to see the best results, and it bothers folks, believe it or not, when they know what has happened. And sometimes when they know, you want to instantly do some things to people, but you can't do it until you have all the loose ends tied up. I think I've been saying that, y'all. Good afternoon, Detroit Trap. So that's why I say I know that instead of sending out curses to people, the very people that's going to be the ones to get the results, I send out prayers to them for God to give them strength to make this thing a speedy thing. You know, they're the ones that's out on the pavement, these investigators over at homicides and over at, because the sheriff's office have investigators also. MPD and the sheriff's office are two different entities, but they're the ones that's going to be the ones to make this justice happen. And these people know exactly what has happened. They know exactly what has happened. And then, hello, Miss Teresa. Hello there, Miss Teresa. Hold on. I'm getting ready to. I dropped the link. I know Miss Kimberly had wanted to come up. Miss Lynn says God will elevate you higher, Miss Tamra, because you are generous and you have a humble soul. I always try to be humble. When you see me start to get agitated, when people start to really agitate me, I get them away from around me. There's a cost. That's too higher. That's too high of a price when you have people around you that disturbs your peace. I've been there. I ain't lived 43 years. But like when people start to disturb my peace, they start agitating me. I have to get them away from around me. Tastemaker says, I just lost my dad in 2016 and it still feels like yesterday. That man was and still is my best. I, I lost it. It says that man was and still is my best friend. Him and God gracefully walks with us. I pray Dolph, or I play Dolph so much. I know they supporting Dolph absolutely. Magname says, I want justice for Dolph for the fact of seeing him in flesh and actually seeing how he genuinely wanted to help people. Absolutely. And I know for firsthand, the very people that you help would be the ones to stab you in your back. That's why you don't see me. Thank you, Miss Sheikah. You don't see my cash thing back working. You don't see me um blaming people, especially like Key Glock. I understand. I had a dad in a high position. And because I was so focused on helping folks, people was trying to use me to get to my dad and did try to backstab me. It's just that my dad was so strong. My dad trusted me, but they couldn't really get to him. But it broke my heart because these were people, the very people that I helped to get jobs. Can you imagine that? Helping people to get on their feet. And I'm talking about good jobs, to cut me in my back because they couldn't appreciate what I was doing to help them. They was jealous of the fact that I was in a position to help them. The very people you will help people, and then they'll get mad and say she was only able to do it because of her dad. Yeah, it probably was some more people more qualified than me. That's how sick folks are. When they try to, it don't even make sense. But that's what they'll do. How you doing, Miss Kimberly?
I'm doing pretty good. It's my mic is low. I don't know what it is. I have to, came and left a few times, but it's like my volume is real low. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Good Lord, I don't know what it is.
I
It
just I
told me
just
to.
I just turned you up on my end.
Did you? Because it told me to, if it continues to restart my phone. I don't know why.
Well, I just
Um,
turned you up on my end. You're loud.
yes, it must be my end. I don't know why, but I wanted to say my experience, this time I've known you, I love your demeanor. You're gentle, you're meek, you're very patient. And not to mention, you are respectful, you're a reputable person. You don't get caught up in, I even have to say this, YouTube street drama, a mess that a lot of people find themselves in, and that's because of your reputation.
Thank you, Miss Kimberly.
And I truly, truly appreciate that about you.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I understand you have to have like integrity. And I think about that, even like before, because I think about it sometimes. I go, um, I have a reputable business. Like I don't really have to get on here. And then I go, but I am on here for a mission. You know
Right.
what I mean? It is a mission, and it has somewhat always been a ministry. You know what I mean? It does not make my what I do, because people go, you just seem like you too soft spoken, but you can't judge a book by its cover, because I handle business all day, every day. Whatever I am, it has always gotten me good results.
Praise God for that. Oh, and I forgot to mention, and I love the fact that you're not on the same level spiritually. People don't understand that you have to put God first. You have to not only reverence Him, but speak about Him, share Him, because we don't know what someone else may or may not have been taught. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And even a few lives back, there were several people, men and women, even stating, coming on the live, and even those in the chat about how you and how you are have challenged them to be better men and to be better individuals as as women as well. And that speaks volumes. And I really admire that, and the fact that you can do that and you're not involved in no mess, no clickbait. Your channel is factual based. You allow everybody to share their opinions, as long as they're respectful, and of course respecting Dolph and each other. And I don't understand why we as a race feel like if you don't agree with me, you're my enemy, or what you say doesn't matter. And
Yeah,
it's not so.
yeah, yeah. Like I said, we have to uh get past that. I was at a training the other day. I think I spoke about that. And that's when I found out about the satellite, how accurate and good the cameras are in the sky. I was blown away. And I was sitting at a training, and when it was nothing but judges and prosecutors and a few lawyers, okay?
Uh-huh.
And they was talking about, some of them are getting ready, some of those prosecutors are getting ready to run for judge. Some of those very prosecutors down there that's working prosecuting these folks on this Dawes case, right?
Mm.
And one of them was talking about how um he the cameras in the sky, like he was out in his yard and he saw a young man run from behind his house. He said, and I was like, what the hell is that? And he said about a minute later, he saw a police run from behind his house. And he was like, he said, I was like, you know what? Who is that? Blessing sister, Hero Fix TV. Thank you, Hero Fix TV. He said, I was like, okay, so it didn't, he said, it didn't take me long to figure out the police was chasing him. He said, so I started to chase him
Mm-hmm.
to and help the police officer. He said, and he said, so some of my young men, now this man is the second in charge over at the DA's office. He's running for a judge's position.
Wow.
And he said, some of my coworkers, some of the guys that I'm over, was able to go over to the FBI and get the video of the sky cam of me chasing the guy. And oh, we have the biggest time laugh, and it is the funniest thing. I'm like the joke of the office. And I said, oh my God. That's why you know what I mean? Like, that's why I say, with this Dolph situation, there are a lot of major components, but these people got so much that works in their favor,
Mm-hmm.
and I know that they do. That blew my mind to know that they can go get video of from out the sky.
Right.
I know we did the Google Maps, but my God, I just, because I started thinking, I was like, now I know as an investigator myself, I know of all the things that are available, but nobody told me about the sky cameras that work that good, where you can go and get it and look at some stuff. Like, it blew my mind.
See, people that's why they better stop doing these crimes. I wanted to say to Lynn Smith, thank you so much for your comment. Thank you. Or compliment rather. Um, yeah, people, yeah, their sins will be found out. It
Yeah,
may not come today, but what go like it's what's done in the dark will come to light.
it always comes to the light. Nobody's gonna get away with anything. Nobody's gonna get away with anything, and everybody wants justice for Dolph. I know I do. I want justice for Dolph, and I want to see
Right,
Dolph's the young men. Because I'm gonna tell you something. When they started working this case, the people that are right up under you are always the ones that are looked at and investigated first
right,
and eliminated. That's the process of elimination. Okay. They're always the ones that's looked at first, especially when you're dealing with the type of money that Dolph has. Okay. And
uh-huh,
it was easier for them to zone in on whoever their target is, and they know who their targets are, every one of them, because a lot of them put it out there.
right,
You know, a lot of them put it out there, and so I want to see everything that Doc was building. And I ain't saying that it wasn't some people that was acquainted with him that then slick do some dirt to him because they was jealous of him.
right,
I just know it wasn't the people in his immediate circle.
right. And it hurt me that well, actually, it was last night when you had stated what you stated, not too long ago that you restated this afternoon about that it was an order that he couldn't walk out that plate at the cookie store alive. That hurt me to my
Mhm.
heart to hear that. But I'm thankful to God that the FBI, the TBI, and the police know about it, because that means that they are doing their job and they're on top of it.
Absolutely. One that broke my heart. And the person that told me, see, and that's where a lot of these bullies that was involved in this messed up at. They send their trolls and their minions out, and their minions further led the people to them even more. No vlogger can get on here and say anything that these folks. First of all, they have people that monitor this stuff all day, every single day.
Facts.
Okay. And no vlogger can tell them something that they don't already know. Actually, a lot of it might be funny to them, but
Mm-hmm.
they've been on their trail, and ain't no vlogger put them on their trail. Okay.
That's right.
So if I got on here and if I tell you that somebody told me, and the person would know, and it ain't nobody off the street, it's somebody that's working this situation, that
Mm-hmm.
knows, that has investigated this, that they know that there was an order that he was not to walk out that cookie store ever.
Right.
So that's why I can sit back and be extremely quiet, because I know that they're working this case. Yes, it's absolutely terrible.
Also, that goes to show that if there was an order, that means that's someone in high ranking with power and or money.
That's true. As if it was an order. That's true. That's true. But one thing that my grandmother used to always say is the devil will mess himself up trying to mess you up. That's why I don't worry about when people do certain things. I get emails and stuff all day, every day. Okay. I don't know who they are. I guess it wouldn't be hard to find out who they are, but I don't want to know because they ain't even that serious enough. But when people send me messages saying this, and that, first of all, I'm not on here to fight and argue with other bloggers.
Right.
And I don't get into no crab, no barrel. I'm not becoming a crab in a bucket with trying to pull other people down to try to keep them from getting on top. It don't work. It always backfires.
Mm-hmm.
It always backfires.
Indeed, it does.
Rest in peace, Young Dolph said that's why YG Sisters daycare was shut down that day when Dolph got killed.
Oh wow. I
Wow.
didn't know that. Did you know that?
I didn't know that, but I'm sure the people that's working is, I don't know.
Mm.
Tamo A says someone's got to be talking if that it's known Dolph was not to walk out of this store. Right. Somebody got to be talking.
And
And
not
it's not the vloggers. people have been talking. Anytime you start, I'm gonna tell you something. When I worked for MPD, I worked over in Crime Stoppers. I did traffic, and then they sent me over to Crime Stoppers, and we did tips. And the first of every month, we went and did payouts. We would meet at an undisclosed location. All the people that called in the tips, and we would pay them their money. Okay, so they do pay. And when people would call in, you would be surprised. People call in, man, I know who did this, this, and that. You know, man, I don't know though. Should I? I'll F it. I'm going to go and tell it. These
Knowing
are
they
the
want to tell it
people right
anyway.
around you.
Mm-hmm.
So when they say they got over 500 tips, that was like the first week or day or something. Can you imagine how many tips they've gotten? These folks so far along, it don't even make no sense.
Right. And you know, and like you said, the police know, you know, if the police know, that means someone's talking like they said in the comment. But not only that, one thing about the streets, it cannot keep a secret. It's gonna talk. And as soon as it happened, which I've mentioned it before, certain names, in one particular, one is, you know, allegedly locked up behind allegedly killing young Dolph, rest in peace. His name was on fire. And when people around you and grew up around you, hang out around you, they know your mannerisms. They know, you know, your character, you know, how you walk, how you do certain things. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So that also helped.
Absolutely.
But for the biggest thing is, you know, a person thinking, you know, like the Bible said, a fool is wise in his own eyes. Them going online, mocking, thinking that, you know, they got away with it because they were covered up and you really couldn't, you know, see, you know, the face or anything.
Mm-hmm.
But God said, not so.
Let me tell you something. I think I said this in one of, and this is actually what put when I went on that live that I did when I got my first threat. It was being monitored because they had told me you're gonna get a threat, and I was like, but it was very neutral. They said you're gonna get a threat, and I got it 2 days later. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm not going to talk about that, but anyways, it was monitored. And anyways, on that, I think what made whoever it was mad, they know who it is. I don't. I don't want to know.
Uh-huh.
Whoever it was mad is because I said I was that when that situation happened, there's video of straight drop um at a high rise with the, I don't want, okay. But anyways, whatever I said on there, these people know.
Right.
They know, but it was video. They may even have video of somebody with the same stuff on right after it happened going home.
Jesus.
And the thing about it is when when you're in live in these real expensive high rise and things of that nature, they have cameras and stuff everywhere.
And they have great surveillance too. I mean, clear
Absolutely.
video. Mm.
How you doing? Rest in peace, young dog.
How you doing, T?
Good.
I just wanted to tell Kimberly, yes, that was the truth.
I'm sorry, say it again.
Sorry, not Ian, but I just wanted to tell you that was the truth. His sister, she shut that daycare down in North Memphis the day dog got killed.
My Lord. Wow.
Wow.
Then they paid somebody to say his mom restaurant got shut up.
Allegedly. Okay.
Yeah.
And you see, and I can believe that. And it's like bringing attention to yourself when you don't even need to.
Yeah. You know.
Wow.
Like I said, we don't really, the police know who's all involved.
Right.
They do. I don't know who was all involved, but they know. And like I said, they're working it. And I trust them to work this, you know. Um
I'm
and
gonna
you
come
have
back up time.
okay.
Uh,
Thank you, Rage. Rage Against the Machine. Thank you, Tempest Ford. You know, and like I said, I do my best as a professional to try and stay neutral, but I'm always on the side of what's right.
Right.
And I know what was wrong is nobody had any business shooting that young man down. And according to what that person told me, um, if you know, it was an order that he not walk out of that shop, that means somebody put a hit on him.
Right.
And whoever it was that put that hit on him had no right to do that.
Absolutely, it was unwarranted. And just like R.I.P. Young Dolph just said, about the daycare, and to got paid to say so, the certain things happen to a restaurant. Why would you bring attention to yourself like that for no reason?
Yeah.
And those people, and I remember that young lady face who was saying about the restaurant and etc. And even a young lady in a vehicle, but she claimed she knew that's who it was, but she pulling up. How do you know for sure that was young Dolph, and you hadn't even parked your vehicle and walked close enough to see if that was him or not?
Mm-hmm.
And then another person's phone, they had to make sure that that was him. And I think that somebody liked it or whatever. But there were people there, to report back that yes, that he was no longer here.
Mm-hmm. Some of them
And
might
all
be.
those phones, the FBI will be able to tap into because they was around that area.
Yeah. Yeah. It's something, like I said, people in the feel like, well, the vloggers, man, some vloggers do make up stuff, some of
Right.
them, but it had nothing, what the police have nothing to do with any vlogger. It's got everything to do with them. I've been saying this. It's got
Mm-hmm.
everything to do with people wanting them to know that they was involved in other people, them tips that came in.
Right.
Like I said, in order for the FBI to have gotten interested or in so early on, you have to think about, it's still a state case. Why did with the MPD or the FBI get involved? There had to have been some type of proof that there was some money transferred
Mm-hmm.
somewhere. It was some type of murder for hire or some kind of money given.
Mm-hmm.
It was some type of murder for hire. They knew that early on.
I
You
can
know,
agree to that.
so it had nothing to do with the vloggers, nothing that anybody vlog about could ever, they could never say anything that the folks don't already know.
Right. And people don't, and they, most regular people don't understand, and how law enforcement work and how they have a cyber department, people who get paid just to watch social media. You know what I mean? They don't
Hmm.
understand that, and then they don't understand that just because we seen video with other people's death, or we'll say for instance like who King Von. Well, young Dolph situation is different, and the cookie shop cannot release the video, and the police cannot release the video, the FBI, TBI, because it's part of an ongoing investigation, and it can jeopardize the case and or witnesses. And that's why they said, well, all they have to do is just drop the video, but they don't understand that it's not that simple.
Yeah. Rest in peace, Young Dolph says, then Straight Drop got the nerve to get on live that night and say, trying to be funny. Everybody involved deserve it. Yeah, they definitely wanted Dolph to know. You're right. They were making fun. And then they
Right.
were saying, yeah, we smoking on Dolph Pat. That's what JoJo and Splatinum was saying. Yeah, we
See.
smoking on a Dolph. We smoking on Dolph or whatever, however they say it. The young kids say it. Bobby Smith, Bobby CEO.
CEO Bobby.
Yeah, all of them. They was getting on each other's lives, getting in. Um, um, and the people that knew, it was people around that area that already knew. Didn't y'all see his live folks? Them folks, it was people making fake pages from around the area that knew and tagging the police into his live. That's why
Uh-huh.
his eyes stretched, because he was thinking, wow, these folks know already. They already knew.
See, and it reminds me once again of the FBG duck case. Because the FBI was involved and people didn't really know, but they were, and how those young men were doing the same thing, mocking and thinking it was funny because they thought they had got away with it.
Yeah,
And little did they know, they just was digging their hole deeper and deeper.
that's true. Hold on. Hello.
Hello.
Hello. How are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
I'm great.
Hi.
Hi, ladies. I didn't. Wow, that was quick.
Mhm.
Wasn't ready. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Uh, Tamara. Good afternoon. Good
Good
afternoon, ladies.
afternoon.
I'm not gonna stay on long because I'm still at work. Don't tell anybody. But I just wanted to quickly um give you a shout out about the Lorenzen Wright murder case.
Thank
I
you.
did see the two interviews that you did some time ago, years ago, with his mother. I'm so grateful that the family has gotten some semblance of justice
Right.
for this case. It has been such a long time coming for this family, and I'm glad that his mother is still in the land of the living to see justice served. What I don't understand how she was able to get the sweetheart deal that she received. I don't understand why it was even offered to her in the first place. I do believe that the prosecution had enough solid evidence, whether concrete or circumstantial, to give her to for
Mhm.
her to be convicted with capital murder. But
Mhm.
I guess people just wanted it to be over. It seems like Miss Marion said, you know what, go ahead, pull the trigger on that. We just want it to be over.
Yeah.
Maybe she just didn't want to go through a trial or whatever. I watched your live with Billy Ray Turner, and he is a fool, and everything that's happening to him. Like, I don't know if you saw at the end when he was convicted, when he was found
Yeah.
guilty, like how he was shaking his head, like
Yeah.
he, you had to pick his mouth off of the damn floor
He
because
didn't think that he would be
I don't understand why he thought he wouldn't. Tamara, can you tell me why he thought he
because he
wouldn't?
had gotten away with it for so long. I'm gonna tell you something. That one show that's up there, where my when I had just cut my hair off, it was short when I was
It
interviewing
was
his mother.
short.
That
It was
night
cute.
that I came, that night after that show aired on Comcast, um, there was a young man that called me and he said, is your name Tamara? He said Tamika or whatever, Tamara, whatever. I said, it's Tamara. It's not whatever. It's Tamara. And he said, I just looked at the Lorenzen Wright's show. He said, I got some information that his mother would want. I think she's going to be interested in what I got to tell her.
Mm.
Call my cell phone. And I said, well, what I'll do is I said, um, I will get her if you'll give me a number. I'll get her to call you. I don't want to give you her number. He said, "Yeah, I want to tell her something." And just from his voice, it made the hairs on the back of my neck stand up. I
Oh
knew
my goodness.
I knew something.
Mm.
And
Mm.
when he talked to her, she called me back. She said, "Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I'm getting ready to call the investigator right now."
Wow. So
Yeah.
he did. So they did talk.
Yeah, they talked. I told
Oh.
her,
Mm.
I said, block your number and call him back from this number. This is the number that he gave me.
Mm.
Tamara, quickly, were you able to find out? Did she share with you what he shared?
She shared some things with me. He basically told her something, that what she already knew, that Shara was involved. He told her the night that that they was burning that remember they was
Yeah.
burning. Actually it was the cell phone. It was a
Mm.
cell phone. They was
Okay.
he knew quite a bit of information.
My
Quick
goodness.
question. I'm assuming that you watched the trial. I could be wrong. Correct me if I am. The female cousin of Cher Wright. So okay, so quick, I'm sorry, I'm trying to get all of it in because I've been trying to get at you for a while. Um, okay, so there's a news anchor that has a podcast on Spotify that is amazing on this case. I had left a comment on that live. Like, it goes from his childhood to everything that happened. Like, she interviewed his best friends, his mom, grandmother, dad, even his father,
Mm.
allowed to be interviewed, which I know is rare.
Right.
Um, One of the things is that nobody on her side of the family has said a single mumbling word.
I
Not
think it's because
one.
they were always afraid of Shara. One thing I used to have to do when I would record that, of course, we would have to edit out a whole lot because his mother was very emotional and she said a whole lot, but she knew a whole lot. She knew, number one, that Shara had something to do with that. She knew that she had killed Lorenzen and she had killed him for his money, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, I think her family has always, if you listen to her cousin, the one that was on the stand that said he wasn't there, but he really was. I
He
can't
was.
I can't
I
think of
believe
his name right now.
Jimmy Martin.
Martin, yeah. You heard him say, I didn't want to. They said, why didn't you tell her no? He said, I didn't want to. You can't say no to crazy. That'll make her go even more crazy. Share a family.
Mm.
And that's what people didn't talk about. Cheryl's family is mortified of her because of things that have happened in Cheryl's childhood. It, they were very afraid of her.
Jesus.
Cheryl is like a black widow, and I really don't think she should ever get out again. There was whispers that allegedly, and I had to edit that out, that she did something to the baby that died, and she had an uncle to come up missing.
They
And they
talked
think
about
that,
that in the podcast
yeah,
too.
they think that she had something to do with that also.
Mm. Mm-mm-mm.
She has I believe it was her a stepmother that's absolutely afraid of her.
Do you think, Tamara, that Shara is she allegedly a possible serial killer?
I think so. I think she's mentally ill, of course, and if they feel that way, there's no telling what else that she hasn't done. You have a family that, if you think about it, her cousin that was keeping her kids was afraid of her.
Mm.
Yeah, I wanted to be mad at the cousin, but I really had to sit with that and say, well, if I heard somebody say, well, she could get it too, you know, I guess, I don't know what I would like to think the woman I am, because the thing about it is, I, like, I understand her, but then again, it's like, yo, sis, you wrong for that, because at the end of the day, like, you could have went to the authorities on the low and told them, what you heard.
Yeah,
They came to you years later. You didn't go to them.
right,
You know what I mean? And I just
right.
feel like you're sitting there and you're saying, "Oh, Lorenzen, he was like a brother. He was this, he was that," and it's like, what you heard, and even after all these years, they had to come to you to get you to talk and say, "Okay, well, we're not gonna throw you in jail unless you tell us what you heard, or what
Mm.
about this." But in the podcast, the reporter, and I'm sure you know the reporter I'm talking about, uh chocolate sister with a short haircut.
I do. Yeah,
Yes. So, like I said, she did this podcast. I mean, she blew it out the water. This podcast was just off the hook. And
yeah,
she did try to reach out to Sherry's side of the family. I think a neighbor had
Wow.
the only
yeah.
person that
They're
spoke
not
was a
going to talk.
neighbor.
Her side of the
And
family
because
isn't going to talk.
she wanted to get some type of idea, like, what was Cheryl's childhood like, what was she like as a child. And the only person that spoke was like some neighbor that was like, oh, she was playful, whatever the case may
Mm.
be, so on and so forth, whatever. I'm not bashing anybody. I don't know, what the circumstances were. with a 16-year-old dating a 21-year-old. I don't know if statutory rape was even on the
It
books back then, because you
his
pick.
mother said it started at 14 or 15, but here's the thing about that. I think his mother, it's on record of her saying that when Lorenzen went to play back, that he needed to go to a school that was by her mother's home, so he went and stayed with her mother for
Mm.
a while, and that's how Shara's dad and Shara was able to get him. He was 14 years old, had never been with a woman, and her mother said, I didn't know how old she was. She said, but when I first saw her, she said, I knew the bee was old. And I
Oh
said, why
my.
is this woman with my child?
Oh my.
And you know what? It is what it is. And I'm not, like I said, I'm not trying to bash, but I just know, like me, and I'm sure you're a mom too. Like, wouldn't your natural response be like, stay the heck away from my son before I call the police on you? And where was his
No,
father when
yeah.
all this was going on?
Well, his father was in Memphis. His father was in Memphis, and Lorenzen was down in Mississippi. He didn't come to live with his father until he started going to the University
Okay,
of
got you.
Memphis. So that's when he moved up to Memphis, right? But Shara's father was his coach somewhere in Mississippi, and he quickly put Shara on him.
Okay, so they met in Mississippi, not Memphis.
Right.
Got Okay, now it makes
They
sense.
said,
Now it makes sense.
they played. Allegedly, her dad and her both played on this
Yeah.
baby's, emotions and heart
Yeah.
That's exactly what
Hmm.
they
and
did.
innocence at the same time.
Because allegedly her dad has said this one is going to go pro
Mm,
because
mm,
they
mm,
had put
mm.
her on quite a few other ones
Because
allegedly.
this is
Almost,
molestation.
it's absolutely
Statutory
molestation,
rape is what it's called, right?
right?
Hmm. If this were reverse gender, people would be up in arms. This
Yep.
is this is molestation. This is
That's true.
statutory rape. Also, I'm glad to see like the grandchildren are, coming around. I'm gonna keep it 100. I don't know about her oldest daughter. I don't know. Like, here's the thing. I hope that she is able to have some type of relationship with all her grandchildren. And I understand nobody, I don't care if your mother was the whore of Babylon. That's still your mama. You can't help but love your mama. And that's your mama, regardless of what people
Oh, hold
say.
on. Blood Dog says he went to Booker T, so he may have came to Memphis in high school. Then
Okay.
he may have came up to Memphis in high school. That's when he got with his dad.
Okay. My whole thing is, I'm not trying to bash nobody or whatever. I just feel like with that component, like he wasn't protected the way that he should have been protected. I just feel like maybe had he been protected the way that he should have been protected, because like I said, we have mothers here. First of all, I ain't saying nothing. I'm doing something. I got my bail money. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, his mother did. His mother is very outspoken, and I developed a relationship with his mom and his sister, and they're very, especially his mother. She was always very outspoken, and from my understanding, she was very vocal. She was always very vocal about how she felt, and in saying to him, he needed to get away from Shara, but
Mm.
what Cheryl would do, she had manipulated him from 14 years old.
Yeah, she
She would
she
talk about
yeah.
killing herself. She had those children, and
Yeah.
he felt like he needed to stay around and protect her. She knew how to play on his guilt, and that's why when
That's
she
all
could
he
no longer
knew.
do that, that's why she killed him when she could no longer do it.
What people fail to realize is that's been his main woman all his adult life, pretty much to the day that he was murdered.
Absolutely.
So it's like, contrary to what people believe as men, men get, entrenched in toxic relationships just like women, and find it hard to leave, because even though they were formally divorced, they still was acting like, they were married. And I guess when you have that many kids, it's like you're not really getting away from that person
Well, I think he had
anyway.
pulled away from her because he had moved to Atlanta and she was living in Memphis. And he had started dating a young lady who was in the WNBA, and she was helping him to. Cheryl had ran through his money. She was helping him to get his finances right, and he was even thinking about going to play over in China to get some more money. And I don't think his mother said she think that's when she started to flip out, even though he was talking to other girls, like he was, talking to Lisa Ray. He was talking to that Alexis girl that we saw. He was messing around with them, but he was developing a serious relationship with that Tina Thompson girl. She was on
Yeah,
Mm.
I
the
remember
WNBA.
Tina Thompson.
Yeah, he was and the kids told her about that, and that's really what made her flip out. And
Right, honey. When the kids tell you about somebody, yeah,
yeah,
it's serious.
and
It's serious.
when he told her he was getting ready to get custody of his children because of some activity that was going on in Cheryl's house, he made the mistake of telling her, and she said because he had told her, I'm meeting with my lawyer in 2 weeks. I'm
Man.
changing my will, and I'm getting ready to get custody of my kids. And she had to go.
She made her move.
She made her move,
Hmm.
and that was
Um,
the second time.
Mm.
yeah, yeah, that was the yes, and they said that on the podcast. What else with this? Yeah, I'm glad that Miss Deborah is trying to develop a relationship with her grandchildren, because I'm sure that there was a lot of poison, put in their ear about their father's side of the family. The twins did like a little interview with Lisa Salters from ESPN, and Lauren, she interviewed Lauren too, and Lauren stated how when she was 6, she heard thumping downstairs or whatever that woke her up, and she went to the foot of the stairs and she saw her father physically assaulting her mother. Now, when Lisa Salters asked the twins were not like, yeah, we saw them fight, or we saw them fighting, or we saw my father jump on my mother. They didn't say no, they didn't say yes, but they definitely didn't say yeah, that's what we saw. Um
Yeah,
have you heard anything about that
I haven't.
in their
Mm-mm.
relationship, about him hitting her or whatever?
No, I never heard that. I heard that he catered to her hand and feet.
Okay. And as well, um like I said, I just hope that she's able to have a peaceful relationship with
Are
her
you are
grandchildren.
you a reporter?
No, I'm not. It was just that I was so hooked. I was so hooked on this case.
Okay.
I was so hooked on this. I was like so enamored with this case. It was just like, damn it, she did it. Like
Yeah,
before
but if
she
you
got
listen
in.
to his mother always said it. Like I said, I had to do
She's
a
not
lot
the
of
only
editing.
one. Because a
Right,
lot of
but
people saw that Sports Illustrated interview where she's like, I'm a wife, I'm a mother, I'm an author. Like, everybody saw that. Everybody, so many people saw
she
that. And
never
it's
said
like,
she didn't do it. She never said it.
she
And what
never said she didn't do it. And it was like, okay, who had the most to gain from him, you know, um, not being here on Earth? But
right?
one of the things I want to say to her kids or whatever is, I get that that's your mother, and you should always love and honor your mother regardless, but you also have to understand that your father was somebody's child too,
Yeah.
and people just didn't pick your mother's name out of a hat and say she did it just for
Well, it
no
had gotten
reason.
so bad when I was it had gotten so bad when I was um and I think that she may have zoned in on me some kind of way. And I'm gonna tell you why. I'm talking about Cheryl. She was very dangerous. When I started doing my TV show, that was one of the first cases that I covered, if not the first. It was the first. And I had a bonding company that was sponsoring that show. And what was so weird is the guy that owns the bonding company and I are very good friends to this very day, very close friends. And he said to me, he said, you know, Shara Wright comes over to my bonding company and asked me to give her a job. I said, excuse me? He said, yeah, she comes over here and she asked me if I would train her and give her a job. And she goes into, did you hear about um I know you know me. People have just went into how people had accused her. And I said that was really strange, but he
Mm-hmm.
didn't think anything of it. But I thought about, I always put his commercials into that. You see what I mean? I was like, what would make
Mm-hmm.
her go to a bunny come? She had already gotten the man's money. And not only that, but she was getting 11 grand a month of his pension. When he died, his pension automatically went to her. She got 11 grand every single month. So why would she need to go work at a bonding company, and especially a bonding company that was sponsoring the show that I was doing, or sponsoring that particular um show?
Oh well, yeah, that that's the $64,000 question, sis. Wow, she really was dangerous. Oof. Um, like I said, I just, I, I just hope I see the boys are coming around to the grandmother. I don't know if the girls are coming around, you know, but like I said, they need to understand like that was your father's mother, and they just didn't say your mother did it because we can't figure out who did it, so your mother did it. Like the evidence was so compelling, and I to this day I just don't understand why they offered her that kind of deal. And I
Yeah.
don't, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That deal is a sweetheart of a sweetheart deal. And I doubt that, she will, you never know, see parole in the 8 years, but, you know, that's just crazy. It makes you wonder, like, what she had going on with,
Mm-hmm.
who else's clause she got into, because that is unheard of.
Well, I've always said this, and a lot of people always trying to say you had work for them people, sis, talking about the police department. You always be trying to take up for them. I just know all police officers aren't bad, but now Shara went and married a police officer. Hello, Yam. Hello, Nancy. And I'm not saying that he did anything wrong. I'm just saying a lot of the evidence that they had in the property room, after that all of the policies and stuff was changed. No officer can just walk in that it was supposed to be secured anyways, but the people that worked in there kind of just let the officers walk in there and put up their own evidence and things of that nature. um but a lot of the evidence that they had, as far as like the video, his assistant had given the police a um tape of Shara threatening Lorenzen. Well, that was put into evidence. That's down in the property room, right? And somehow it went missing. She went and married a man that wasn't her type. That she had, everybody was saying, we can't even believe they're like completely mismatched. But I think there was an agenda to that. Now, I'm not saying that he walked in their property room trying to do, because they said she had a
Right.
way with men.
Mhm.
Mm.
She put a root on them in a minute. It seemed like, because they just couldn't say no to her. They was walking around like zombies, whatever she was doing to them. They just couldn't tell her no. But a lot of the
Sound like a
evidence
root to
went
me,
missing. Yeah, that
or a
the
spell,
evidence
something.
went missing. So it was something wrong with that.
Yeah, they're definitely, that 1 minute there's evidence in the evidence room, and then the next minute, there's not. But I've been trying to get in contact with you about this forever, since you did that live.
Mhm.
Being that you're in Memphis, rest in peace, young Dolph.
Yeah.
Uh, what I will say in relations to that is everybody's not involved. So can we please stop with, I don't understand why people would think law enforcement is involved. My question is, what is the win for you being involved in his murder? You know what I'm
Absolutely.
saying? How does it benefit you? What's the win? What is the reward that you get out of it? So I don't understand why people keep saying that law enforcement was involved. People had said Pre was involved, which I don't understand. I really
Yeah.
just think that it's some street foolishness, um, jealousy,
Yeah.
and I do believe they have the right people
They do, and they're
because
gonna get some
criminals
more.
are not as you think they are.
Right.
Because
You know, what I can
the
understand
fact
is
that you went and
people.
did it in a Mercedes Benz lets me know you're not that smart. Because correct me if I'm not wrong, I'm not from Memphis. How many Mercedes Benz do you see in South Memphis?
Not a whole lot, but what I can't
Exactly.
understand is people will point the finger at somebody at Pre because they're doing good, and will go soft on one of the young men that's locked up. That's actually that they said they got proof that he did it. Because he was smart enough to start erasing pictures and stuff that he may have had with anybody off of the internet or any affiliations. The man lived 4 minutes from the cookie shop and in the exact same hood that these dudes hung in. And people will go easier on him and say, "Oh my God, Key Glock did it. He blowing up. He making money." That's why I say we have to get rid of that crabs in a barrel mentality because people go crazy when folks make money. Lord have mercy.
Yeah, they definitely do. But I think that there are some big players involved. And let's just I know that the justice system, the scales are not balanced for, black people, brown people, but it's the only system we have until we get something else. And let's just, let's just hope and pray that, that he will get justice. I'm really upset. I don't know. I haven't been this pissed off since Nipsey, and I'm more angry than sad. I mean, I'm sad because like he really did get it from the mud.
He did.
He really did get it from the mud.
He did.
And it's just like, why would you kill someone that did not do nothing to you? Because my whole thing is, if you asking me to kill someone, you do it.
Yeah.
They didn't do anything to me. What do I get out of it? I'm always gonna have to watch my back. I'm always gonna have to, you know what I'm saying, stick and move, keep my head on a swivel. Like, what do you really gain out of doing this? And you have to ask yourself, why aren't they doing it? If they have so much hatred for this person, why don't they do it themselves? They supposed to be street, they supposed to be whatever.
Allegedly, she did shoot too, didn't she, Tamara?
Yeah, she did. There is part of that, like, that's why I know, like, with this, people talk about the picture that the police put out. I don't understand people dissect anything and everything because they got to be able to put out some content. But with that picture, it was just a screenshot put out for bait, really. um they had already been receiving stuff, but when they put that picture out, people automatically knew who they was, you know. um and that's the only reason that was put out, that picture, a screenshot of what was on the video, right? But yeah, as far as Shara, there was a 911 tape that we only got a snippet of.
I
But the
hate that tape.
prosecutors had, where he was saying, "Wait a minute, let's talk about this." That's how they knew that it was somebody that he knew. Why would he, they wanted
Yeah.
to, they bought, a lot of people bought into, I guess because he was a black man, that it had to be drugs involved, and a lot of
Right.
people wanted to buy into that. Oh, he had gone broke. And his mother was saying she ran through a lot of his money, but he didn't have the money that he once had,
He
but
wasn't like, brother, can you
he
spare
wasn't
a dime broke? Like,
right.
I can't buy groceries broke. He was,
She said he had
okay,
a couple
I
millions.
have to file chapter 7 because I can't pay these property taxes on this mansion broke. It's a big difference.
Right. I'll take a couple millions. He people were saying he was
I'll
broke
take
because he
his
didn't
broke.
I'll take a couple
I'll
millions,
take his broke.
I'll take a couple millions. And the sad thing about it is she got access to everything. People talked about that $1 million insurance policy she got from the NBA. But she had other policies on him personally. He had properties. His mother
Mm-mm.
was living in a home that he bought his mother cash when he went to the NBA out in Southwind, which is a very like
Hmm.
a very upscale area. And it went to Shara, and she took the house and sold it.
How low can you be?
And what's so crazy is, ugh, gosh, this is just horrible. With his best friend in the podcast, like everybody said, had he not let her come to LA when he first got drafted, he very well may be alive today. Because like when he initially got drafted, his father was like, me and his wife and the daughter, the father's, new family, they moved there. He took the cousin who was handicapped there, and he has a best friend, and
Mm-hmm.
he told the best friend, yeah, she on me, she want to move to LA with me. And the friend was like, my guy, do not let her move, keep her keep her in Tennessee,
Mm-hmm.
because you cannot turn a hoe into a housewife.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, like, I believe every word that you said. Like, her father was pimping her to like anybody that looked like they was gonna be, NBA worthy, or whatever the case may be. Because for your friend to feel so comfortable saying about, your girlfriend, you can't turn a hoe into a housewife. Yeah, it is what it is. Yeah. And they were like, had he, just stood his ground, and kept her in Tennessee, because they wasn't married at the time. They didn't get married till years later based on the podcast. He might still, who knows, he might still, be alive today. But I'm gonna go. I really appreciate the commentary that you give. I know there's so much information that you have that you can't tell us,
Right.
and it's all good. Protect your neck. Um, as far as young Dolph is concerned, rest in peace. I pray for his kids and his family, and I pray for the community too, because it's like, now who's going to pick up that mantle and do some of the things that he was doing. And I'll be interested to see, a year from now, where we are, with the case. And rest in peace, Lorenzen Wright. And I'm glad that Miss Deborah has gotten some semblance of justice while she's living.
Yeah. Yeah. And thank you for coming up.
Well, thank you. No, I am not a reporter. It's just that I followed this for so long. I am not a reporter. It's
Okay,
just
well
I've been following this for a long time.
I'm an investigator. I pay attention to how the words that people say, but it's
Well,
all
you know
good.
what? My father was a New York City police officer, so that might have a little something to do with it.
Yeah. So, are you in New
So,
York?
no, I'm not in New York anymore. I'm in the South, but a lot of my family is in law enforcement. My sister's a probation officer.
You
My
still kind
father,
of got a New York accent too. Think about
yes,
it.
I
Yeah,
am.
that's why I asked you that. You still
I am
kind of
from
got a New
Brooklyn,
York.
baby, all
You from
day.
Brooklyn?
Yes,
I
baby,
love,
all day.
I love New York. I love New York. I
And
love
that was
going
such a
to
sweet
visit.
story. I heard the story of you giving that lady that $100. That just touched my heart, because as New Yorkers we can be hard because
Oh yeah.
we see people with the shuck and jive. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Some people will use their kids. You it's like, yo, wasn't you just on a D line asking for money? Or wasn't you just on a 2 or 3 train? Like, yo, I'm not giving you nothing. Sometimes your heart can be, you know, um, a little, hardened because you see people, you know, just, that's their job to, be begging on a train or whatever. But that really did touch my heart. Moving to the South did make me a little softer.
Well,
It did.
good. Because New Yorkers are very blunt and outspoken, of course.
We can be. Yes,
Very blunt and outspoken.
we
But I
can
thank
be.
you for coming up. Thank you so
Thank you
much. I
so
appreciate
much and continue success. I'll still be continuing to listen to you. I'm just glad I got to speak with you.
it. Okay, thank you so
Take
much.
care. Bye-bye.
That was kind of her. Let's see. Tastemaker said, I get mad every time people get killed, let alone young black successful rappers. I have grown kids myself, and I express my pain the same way to them, the same way I express pain equally. Yeah, it bothers me too, Tastemaker. This stuff has to stop. We African American women need our our black men, and we don't want our sons to be gunned down either, heinously. Um, they literally ran him down in the woods and killed him. They did. Glock will be performing Saturday near me in a private area for the students. Hopefully, you will be on here with the link. Okay. Shout out Southwind. I lived there for years. Okay. Nancy Drew, his mother, said he had a few thousands left and his friend was helping him budget his money and he was going to China to play. Oh, wow. I thought he had a couple million. She might have did say a few hundred thousands. Um, let's see. Oh, let's see. Nancy says Jimmy was there. They know this. He said he was at home and his phone was pinging in Batesville. Yeah, Jimmy was there. He lied. He told him, if I'm not mistaken, Jimmy ended up telling what a gun was, I think, but I think Jimmy was there. But they gave him immunity. That's how he knew that Lorenzen was. I could tell how when he said, Shara says Lorenzen was running and buck jumping like a deer. I said he was there when he said that, and then how he looked after he said it, it's like it messed with him a little bit because he smiled the whole time. I said he was there. The idea that boy was running and jumping. Lorenzen was very tall. He was 6'10" or 6'11". So for him to, you know, um, they was really chasing him down. They said they caught him when he fell. That was said in court case. He said he was at home. That jerk would have put someone else to prey on him. And think about they shot him in the face too. That's a crime of, to me, that's very personal. You want to mess somebody. Lorenzen was I believe that was Shara and Billy Ray. I believe Billy Ray was jealous of Lorenzen. Lorenzen was a very good looking man, real tall and good looking. And then the idea that they went back out there and looked for the gun, around the area he was laying there. And I think the reason they left his money in his pocket, because I think he had about $9,000 on him, or 11 grand or something. I think it was $9,000. They say the reason they left that money on him is because they probably was, I don't know, but they left the money and the jewelry on him. Priest stated that they would keep Dolph Turkey Drive. Good. I'm happy. I'm listening to a couple of cases. Shout out to Brooklyn, New York. Straight New York. I like New York. Hello, 305. There was another case that Jimmy had while he was out that he hadn't taken care of, but he said Cheryl was supposed to pay for his lawyer, and that was she never did. Said that in court case. Okay. It was said that he was shot in the face when his body was found. He was 52 pounds and animals had been eating at him. Yeah. there's a friend of mine that I asked him, he was a lieutenant out that way at the time, and I asked him, I said, um, that's your area that Lorenzen was found in. I said, how, didn't you have to go back there? He said, yeah. And I said, how, I was just very curious. I said, how did he look when y'all found? I knew that was one of the hottest summers. Um, like it was like record breaking in Memphis. It was so hot that year. And he said that it was basically nothing. He said that was nothing really. There was nothing left. That's sad. Yeah, he did say that Lorenzen's mom said that is how she knew Jimmy was there because Lorenzen does run like a deer. Yeah, that's very personal to shoot someone. Yeah, that's very personal. She probably shot that handsome. That's what she was trying to do. She was mad because Lorenzen's mother did tell me that Shara would say, she blamed Lorenzen because she had ended up getting is it Bell's palsy when you start having problems with your muscles? They said it comes from stress. Is that Bell's palsy? I can't remember, but her mouth kind of twisted, and she blamed Lorenzen and said Lorenzen, ended up divorcing her, but she divorced him. She just thought he was gonna try and stop it, and he didn't. He was glad, and she blamed him for getting that for her face twisting, and said she didn't have her looks anymore. I think they left money to throw off their involvement. Yeah. Yes, Jimmy said he knew where they threw the gun. That is why he got a deal. He was in bad condition when he was found. Yeah, he was. Yeah. Yes, because I had it once. Okay. Okay, Yam said they had it once. Bell's palsy, yeah. So she blamed Lorenzen for that. And she felt like he still had his look. See, he was still about 34 years old. So he was young and he had pulled away from her. He was no longer emotionally tied to her. And I think the thing that hurt his mother so much is that she lured him to Memphis. Lorenzen was, she lured him early. And she just remembered him sitting in that chair. He wasn't going to even go to Shara's house. So ain't no telling what she said to him. She lured him over there. You heard Jimmy say that she always said, let's get him in a compromising position. I still kind of, I don't know. I still don't think they told everything. Shout out to Wright's mother for being strong and not giving up. Yeah, that lady has had many ailments. She's gone through a lot of illness, a lot of financial distress, because Shara threw her life off balance and her livelihood. At least he had his mother set with a home. Also, I think he missed, but Shara took that. That's what I'm saying, because he had it in his name, and everything in his name went to Shara. Also, I think he met someone he liked. She also played back. He did Tina Thompson, and she was helping him. He had never. She said Shara ran through the Lorenzen's money. She stayed working him like dough till the end. Yeah. Like I said, I was just completely when my friend said Cheryl Wright came over here and asked me to give her a job as a bondsman. That completely threw me off. But yeah, guys, like I said, I was getting on today to y'all please hit the like button. I was getting on today to I had lunch with one of my friends, and you know, it was kind of it was motivational and it was touching. We all go through certain things, and it all goes back to what I was saying. Always know your worth, because believe it or not, people you need to know your worth, because believe it or not, other people already know your worth. They just bet on you not knowing it. And with people with businesses, a lot of times they get tired, they get drained, because they feel like I'm doing all of this and my head is still not above water. But if you know your worth, because you got the talent, a lot of people, you set your prices right. And because people already know your worth, they're going to pay you what you ask for. Okay. You can't expect them to give you something that you don't ask for. And if you give them the cheapest price, they're going to take it, you know? Yeah. And like I said, we kind of just talked about, the young Dolph's case, nothing real personal or anything, but these people are going to get they already know who they are, and they're going to solve this case. Like I said, you have two different entities working this. At this point, if a police officer wanted to an investigator, see, people kind of group the patrolmen with the investigators. They're in completely different divisions. A patrolman on the street has nothing to do with a case of an investigator. They don't know anything about them really. And but you have two, three. Thank you, Trouble. You have two, three different entities that's working this, and none of them have. I'm talking about law enforcement agencies. None of them have loyalty to each other. I think if somebody wanted to be crooked, they couldn't be, you know, because the Memphis Police Department is not just working this, the investigative unit. Yeah. Hardhead says they're not pushing this far enough. So when you say they're not pushing it far enough, tell me what you mean so that I'll know. Thank you, Trouble. Let's see. Megname Ace, salute to you as well, Miss Tamara, for being a part of history, healing, and standing with the people. Thank you. Hardhead, tell me, so what do you think that they need to do that they're not doing? Because there are some people that feel like you, that they're not pushing it far enough. So tell me what you mean when you say the case. No, they care. They do. The ones that's working this, the investigators can't make mistakes. Takes time. Absolutely. Like, nobody wants to take the opportunity, Hardhead, at this point. They know who all is involved, from my understanding. But nobody wants to. You can't just go and charge people with stuff and you don't have everything. That's the biggest mess up that there ever is, because once you charge them, they go to court and they win. And you're talking about people that may have money to get high priced defense teams, you know. But if they got the proof, they got everything that they need, they can drain them, and then they ain't gonna win anyways. But when you start talking about just charging people based on emotion or based on what you think, and not having all your loose ends and stuff tied up, that's when people are able to, that's when not guilty verdicts come in. And then when a person is found not guilty on a particular case, they can never be tried again, even if they get the evidence, all of the evidence that's going to get a solid conviction. Cavalier says, I think the crooked people, if any, are left the case fast or soon after. Yeah. Hardhead said, well, straight drop, get out. I don't know. It's easier to add than just to pull on the line at once. Miss Extra says, hey, Tamara, happy Thursday. Happy Thursday. Yeah. Trouble, they say you being hard-headed. They say you being hard-headed. Ness Drew says, happy God Day happy God Day every day. Yeah. Right, case closed. Breaking news, the feds just tied Big 30 to the getaway driver. No further details. Is that on the news? Tastemaker? Only if they dismiss the prejudice with prejudice. I think the feds could arrest people now if they choose, but they're still looking for bigger. When is the next court date? I think the next court date is on the 24th, Daryl. I think the next court date is on the 24th. I don't know who that is, but I'm getting ready to see though. Oh, okay. Um, I haven't seen it. Somebody said breaking news: the feds just tied a big 30 to the getaway driver. No further details. Where you hear that at, Tastemaker? Street Flames Crew TV. Okay. Go check out BJ. His leg is the same leg that was in the picture. I ain't never heard of Black Boy DJ or BJ. What channel is that on, Tastemaker? What what news channel was that on? Was it on channel channel 5, channel 13? Um, let's see. Okay. It's 106 people in the room. Have y'all hit the like button? Also, for those of y'all that haven't subscribed, please subscribe. I got on here to be motivational. We always end up talking about cases, right? Oh, okay. I'm so glad you pronounced my name correctly, Miss Tamara. By us being Memphians, they pronounce it Durl. You sure do, Durl. That's what a young lady said to me one time. Her name is Carmen. I call her Carmen. And she said, "You the only person around this area that has ever pronounced my name right." She said, "Everybody else call me Carmen. Carmen." She said, "My name is Carmen. They call me Carmen." Hardhead said, "Let's get it." Okay. All right, you guys. I've been on an hour and a half. Like I said, I just got on today because I was. Oh, okay. Tastemaker said, "I told you I was here doing my research." Okay. All right, do your research. I ain't mad. It's good. It's other people researching. I hear you. I hear you. I just kind of chill though, and I let I let the people that's investigating it investigate it. It popped on my YouTube as recommended. Okay. Sir, there's a tape from the inside. Yeah, that's video from the inside. But MPD got it. Of course, the prosecutors have it. Thank you, Hakia. You too. I think the public want to see that tape. I don't want to see it though, Tastemaker. I would never want to see something like that. And if I was Dolph's family, if that tape was ever released, I would sue like Kobe Bryant, like Vanessa Bryant did with Kobe. They leaked out pictures of Kobe's plane wreck. You know, um, she sued and won. If I was Dolph's family, I would do the same thing. Thank you, Player Cole. Um, it popped up. Okay. Yeah, hardhead. There's a tape from the inside. Now, since you investigate, um, I tell you, it's a lot of investigators on this case. I ain't mad though. I'm not mad about it. I be looking at people content. Some of it I be tripping out about. Some of it I don't know. You know. Um, thank you, Daryl. Some of this stuff these folks be putting up, I be like, Jesus Christ, Lord, what in the world is going on here? And then um, some people might know something, and then some people be onto something, and then they'll go left. You have to be careful about that. When people zigzag on different trails, I go, dog, darn, I was just saying that, you know, they might know what they talking about. And then they turn around and did a and went left some kind of way. Cause see, if you on a trail, it can't be everybody, like I always say. I just kind of stay on one trail, you know. Sometimes there are hiccups and some people are added, but in this case, I don't think so. You know, Raven be on YouTube talking about it, but won't tell us. Raven be on YouTube talking about she's oh wow. Player coach said a lot of cap. Yeah, yeah. You have to watch people that switch up every day now. 1 minute, one day, or one day they saying this person did it. A few days later, they saying somebody else did it. And but like I said, people kind of buy into that. But I mean, I guess it's all good. Tastemaker said we don't even go this hard for big, and now that we have social media, we can't express ourselves while future leaders that was paving a way. Yeah. I think they said they know who killed Biggie. I think they said they know who. I think the people that killed him dead, but see, the LAPD was very crooked. They were involved in that. They kind of set that up, and I think because they didn't want Biggie's family to sue and get no money, the LAPD ended up taking out the gang members that was involved in doing that. You know. Tennessee Mid Sector says Raven has stepped in some ish switching stories. See, when people get mad at me, and people have gotten mad at me about that, I have never, the only time that I have seen Raven ever give an interview was on the local news in Memphis. And that's really the only time. Like all these other interviews, now I was clicked on stuff and I've seen her up there, but I've never really listened to it. So when people say, well, you heard her say this, she said that, she said this, I go, but I don't know. I don't know. So when people say her stories have switched up, and I have not even looked at all of her interviews. So I don't know. I know a lot of people watch her very closely. I just haven't. So I don't know if a lot of her stories have switched up. Um, Nancy Drew says even if she was talking about it, investigators are zoned in on what they have. People been given misinformation on Summer Wells' case too. It said, "What is Apple AirTag?" Kansas City said, "Cook 'em, Mama T." But yeah, I don't know, but let me ask y'all this. Don't y'all think, and I'm just asking y'all this, because I don't know if they were involved or not. I don't know. I'm not working this case, so I don't know. But don't y'all think with the way people are talking, if Raven and them were involved, nobody has told me she was involved, but it don't mean nothing. I don't know everything about this case. I don't even want to know everything. But don't y'all think that if she was involved with this situation, um, the way them folks is talking, they would have told on them by now? Tastemaker said that's what the girl Kenosha was doing. She had it live and just saying, wait a minute, it jumped. Saying you see dog ball. and hanging out the window. Hmm. I think by her talking about the details multiple times, she makes herself a target. Tamara don't even listen to them. They are conflicting. It would be a waste of time. I zoomed in on Ray. Um, I don't think they were involved. Alternate George says she don't think that, or he don't think that they were involved. It's Dolph, the big flipper. Yeah, it's Dolph. It's Dolph. You need to come out with your own show called To Serve and Protect on YouTube, the spinoff to Law and Order. If y'all seen some of the cases that I had, y'all would be so tickled. I promise y'all, like I do a lot of, I don't know why, like I work for a lot of attorneys, but a lot of people call me privately, personally, right? I do a lot of infidelity work, y'all. I'm talking about the real stuff. And if y'all seen some of the cases that I have, child, or have had, I have to be careful because everybody want me to be their counselor. I'm like, I'm just your investigator. But you have to keep people calm to a degree, of course. Especially when you have to tell them that their spouse has been cheating and you got proof. I know this investigator in Orlando. He said, T, I don't do infidelity cases no more. I said, why? He said, when I gave my client the founders, she told my damn office up. He said, I showed her the picture. She told my damn office up. But I always keep my clients calm, of course, because it can be something else. But I'm gonna tell y'all something I always say now. If y'all want to learn how to fight, y'all need to look at some of these white women. They don't get physical. They be married to some of these, I ain't gonna say who, but they knows how to fight. They'll go, I ain't gonna tell y'all our secrets. Let's see, show the people the black Lincoln didn't have no bullet holes in it because we know what we say that day. Okay, zooming in on Raven is a rabbit hole. Always a pleasure. Thank you, Miss Mary. Donna, hey Tamara. Hello, Miss Donna. Selling elbows, everything goes. But my investigators that work with me, they are they are awesome. They are. They just, when I think about the, you know, I always say, with my firm, it wouldn't be what it is, um, if it wasn't for the good investigators. I understand, what having a team is. It's important to have a team. That's why I'm always about teamwork. I can't get with that crabs in a barrel mentality. I understand. Like my investigators have are retired. They come from other agencies. Okay. And so they retired, and this is something that they don't have to do, but they do, you know. They've already made their living. They come from different agencies, and they come with different experiences. There ain't nothing we can't do. I'm telling you, it ain't nothing we can't do. Um, let's see. Nancy Drew says I wouldn't even want to plant myself in that case if I didn't have anything to do with it. That is dangerous. Yeah. That's why when somebody came on my page and they was lying anyways. They was just trying to figure out some stuff. Dolph's family, first of all, this case is an active case. The federal agency and the Memphis Police Department is working Dolph's case. No private investigator would be acquired for this case because it is actively being worked. Period. It's not cold at all. Um, yeah. But you're right. This that Dolph's case is a case that, if you don't have to be affiliated with it. That's why you see so many of um his relatives and the people around him quiet. You know, they're just allowing the Memphis Police Department to work their case. I'm sure, because yeah. Let's see, Midwest. We saw them bullet holes in that car. Prove us wrong. Uh, you saw the bullet holes in what car? Um, they forget why they came. I bet everybody involved wish they would take the day. Oh yeah, I know they. Yeah, I think everybody that was involved thought that they was gonna be able to hit a lick and go on and live life and be successful and shine and slick brag and taunt. Because you notice that's what they did. They was taunting and bragging about it. Some of them in the beginning, but this case is taking on a life of its own and open up a whole lot of cans of worms. Like I said, it's like a cesspool. I don't know any, you know, body that would want to work this case. I had always said, like, even when it get over to the federal side, I ain't taking. If I wouldn't, because most federal prosecutors will um call in. That's if they're needed, and even the federal defense attorneys. I ain't. My firm wouldn't get involved. Not in this Dolph's case, ever, never. I just don't. It's like a cesspool. So I'm putting that on the record. No, Catalina says no. I think they are afraid of the reach of them. That's why they haven't personally named them. Catalina, when you say you think they're afraid of the reach of them, who are you talking about? Not to say she's involved, but putting out different stories isn't helpful either. Um, World's dumbest criminals. Yeah, they tastemaker. They are. They they are. Like I said, they was on here incriminating themselves more when they was doing terroristic threats on the internet. You know that's straight federal. The folks was able to see who they were. Ain't that something? They got on here and started threatening vloggers. See, that's when you know folks have gotten away with stuff for too long. So they can't get mad at anybody for and believe it or not, a lot of these bloggers was reporting that stuff. They might not have said it. A lot of men won't say stuff, but a lot of them vloggers was reporting them threats. So hey, that's a federal crime on the internet, terroristic threats. So they led the people to them. They did. They can't be mad at nobody for that. They can't stop nobody from reporting. They don't stop, News Channel 3 from reporting Jeremy Pierre and all of them. They don't stop them. Why do you want to get on here and mess with the polar vloggers? They mess themselves over. Some of these vloggers get on here and vlog because they just be wanting something to do. They didn't take this stuff that seriously, and they incriminated themselves trying to bully. Catalina says they needed the shoulder to cry on, Miss T. I told you it's that voice. Yeah, I'm telling you, I have had, oh my God, I've had Lord have mercy. I have had, if y'all only knew, like I've had, you know, guys to come in and hire my firm for to see, especially when they get ready to go through a divorce and they don't want to give none of their money up. They probably be cheating too. But they don't want their wives to get all their money because if we could get them cheating, then that makes it easier on them in that divorce case as far as that financial stuff. And they be trying to coat me. I'm like, oh my God, you want me to catch your wife and tell me if we get it, I'm gonna divorce it anyway. If you find it, can we start dating? I'm like, absolutely not. We sure can't. I have some characters to come through my office. I'm telling you. And it's bad for Raven's father because she's but I said I need to start like a dating thing. I need to start like this dating, get like this dating app because I have a lot of men. I'm gonna say this: there are so many successful, good-looking men, and some of them ain't good looking, but they got good hearts that get messed over. And that's the truth. I hate to say this, and I really, y'all notice I don't even talk about my infidelity cases a whole lot, because I guess because I'm a woman, my firm mostly gets them all. And um there are so many men that get messed over. They do. They're providers, they're good to their women. They work all the time though. I'm so embarrassed to say, the majority of my cases used to be women coming into my office for me to get proof on what their husbands was doing. Now the men, I get a lot of cases from men. And I be hating to say it, the women do be out there cutting up. I can't even lie. I don't know what then got into a lot of women. Let's see. Tastemaker says it's bad for Raven's father because she's getting him mixed up in something. He not. I guess he meant to say he lying, or he 9 out of 10. Okay, has something to do with it. At the edit, do you still have to protect your baby girl? Okay. White women hurt the player code, don't it? He said they hurt them pockets. That's true. They know how to fight. They're not gonna be arguing, going back and forth with us women, especially black women. We real emotional. We be wanting to fight. So if he real dirty, you trying to fight him now, he gonna try to prove in court that you're an unfit mother, you're violent. The white women be just as calm. They just be wanting to hurt them pockets. And they get what they need every time. They get what they want. They look at the bottom line, but we be wanting to fight. We go over there and want to fight the girlfriend. We get the police called on us. Now you're in jeopardy of losing your children. I would love to hear the infidelity cases, Tamara. You can start the Real Housewives. Like I said, I need to start a dating service because it's a lot of good people that get messed over. Y'all wouldn't believe it. Because I be looking at some of those men. I don't know why, but they be one. I need to be a counselor. And they be so hurt. And I'm serious. And I'm like, dog, it's some good women out there that would love to have this good man. They would love to. Tastemaker said they made a platform for Raven. But of course I can't, because I'm professional. I would never date my clients. I'd be like, dog, why they come? Some of them, a couple of them, dog, why they come to my firm? Should have went somewhere else, and I met them like out in public or something. Just rent, because I don't date people that I do work for. Nancy Drew says I like teamwork. Me too. Tastemaker says, and even if you remix it to break it down to the way you want the video to look, is she still said you could hear it being coached. Okay, I'm trying to make sure I'm reading it right, because I know a lot of people talking to their phone and it types anything. You could hear a being coached Carter and just a bunch of rambunctiousness. Okay, I guess that's what that is. I smashed the like button. Thank you, Miss Donna. The dad car, the Black Lincoln, Street Flames TV. You seen it too, huh? It's a Rico case. It ain't just about Raven. I don't know. Miss Tamara, I feel like you would, only because your heart would want to help Maine. Maine. Yeah, I want to see Dolph get justice. I do. But Miss Miami, I promise you. Now, I'm going to tell you something. Those guys that I work with, this would be right down their alley. But I wouldn't. Dolph's case is a cesspool. And I think, you know, I don't think that they're gonna be any wheels left unturned. So it wouldn't be any need for anything. I don't think, like, even when it gets over to the federal side, like, I don't think the federal prosecutors would need any investigators or nothing to go get out on the beat and get them anything. I think it's just gonna be tied, sealed, and delivered, because he got the best on his case. And I think it's gonna be a domino effect, because there are so many people that need justice for them. It might be a lot of people, that families that may get justice, that from just starting with Dolph. Tastemaker says, world dumbest criminals, Raven is going down as the regulator. Mark my words, dinner on you if she is. Hey, okay. Player Code says, um I know you were the pants in the house. Raven probably is probably innocent. I just don't understand why liar or lie about bullet holes in car when we clearly seen that. Hmm. Hakia says, "Where are they?" Hakia, it's a lot of good men that get messed over. I promise you, they take care of their families. They be good looking too. They are. I like I said, I need to start a dating service. Hook some of these folks up. Hot girl summer gonna be over at some point in life. Better know who karma is. Okay. I wonder. You're right about that Tennessee Miss Sector. I wonder why people even stay married. Just leave it if it's not working. They that for convenience. Some of these folks make a lot of money. I'm serious. They do. They be so unhappy, but they don't want to give up their lifestyles. That's why I always say to women, don't, because if a person can stay married and you're a single woman, because a lot of women are attracted to and they'll get into extramarital affairs with married men because they take good care of their women too. But if they can keep their wife, and he don't even have to be in love with his wife, but if he can keep her because he don't want to lose his lifestyle or have to pay or split up his stuff and keep his side piece on the side, he will. Now people can do whatever they want to, but a lot of these women be in love with these married men. But if they don't go for it, especially if he likes her, and a lot of them be liking him, um, then you know, first of all, it's wrong anyways. I'm not promoting cheating. It's wrong. You know, even if a person isn't married and they're living with somebody, I feel like people should respect people's relationships because you have to reap what you sow, right? But you'd be surprised by if you put your foot down and say, I'm not going to deal in this. He will start looking at what he need to do, especially if there's no love in the marriage, um, to get out of that so that he can start a life, you know. But as long as you allow them to stay in those relationships and they go, well, you know, and a lot of times the kids are grown. But if I was in love with somebody, I just don't see. You used to have people being mistresses for 15 and 20 years, which is crazy, you know. But you're right. If it's not working, people just need to depart. They just need to get out of it, you know, instead of making each other miserable. But if they have, you know, if I guess stellar in the community, have certain positions, their wives come from certain families, and a lot of their business connections may come through their wives' families. They be hating each other. It'd be like the War of the Roses. And at some point, sometimes people get tired, you know, and yeah, it could be ugly. But you're right. Dr. Tamara office, we have a 2 p.m. Okay, they be thinking I'm their um their counselor. Especially, I'll never forget, I had this case, and this was some years ago, right? The guy had called me from another state. His wife was coming through, and he was a white guy, and he did not trust his wife. You know, she was doing like a girls thing down in at one of the casinos down in Tunica, Mississippi. Now, he hooked me up because he was like, she's gonna be down there for a couple of days. I said, okay. He was like, what I'm gonna do, I want you to be there the whole time. What I need to do. So I told him the price, and I was like, you know, you want me to be there 24 hours a day, you need to set me up. You know, he was like, well, you want me to get you a presidential suite? I said, yeah. He said, because I want you to be there to watch her 24/7 when she come out of her room, blah, blah, blah. I said, okay. So the whole time, like this man, it's like he did not even want me to go to sleep. The whole time he would want me being on the phone, talking to him, counseling him. That's what it seemed like. I would have to talk until I would go, okay, she's in her room. And the lady wasn't cheating. She was just doing a like a girl's thing with her friends. But he was so scared because she was 20 years younger than him that she was going to cheat. But I never saw her cheat. As a matter of fact, she was always very standoffish. Her friends were very wild. because I would be seeing them in the casino with the men, but she would always be standoffish and stand back, you know. But I enjoyed though being down there. Let's see. Well, I'm glad you ain't doing no work for me. Lames and ducks never win. They going down. Let's see. Hell, this probably crosses a lot of our minds as to why so many different stories from the Cookie Monster people. There's no way someone can be innocent with all of the BS we've heard. Well, Miss T, you don't have to worry about spending your hard-earned money because everyone in Memphis knows that Raven nor her family had anything to do with Dolph's dying. Okay. If it's not unconditional love, then my suggestion is don't do it. Yes, Sheikah, like I've said, and people get mad at me for saying this. I always say with the way that people are talking, and I don't know everything about the case. Well, the way I've heard that people have been talking, rather. Um, if people are telling on their partners and their affiliates and some of their associates and stuff, I can't see them not telling on the cookie shop. But like I said, I don't know. I don't know everything about the case. Um, if it's not unconditional love, then my suggestion is don't do it. But people kind of get married now for convenience. That's sad. I would be terrified. I would catch something without a cure. That's true. And these folks, and what it's heartbreaking sometimes, because a lot of these men that's making a lot of money, they make it because they had a lady on their side who was very business savvy, that stayed in the background, that supported his drive, you know, and helped him to build that empire. And so, yeah, they messed that up after so many years when he started making money, because a lot of women, especially when they have the wrong motives, they are drawn to power and money, unfortunately. Um, and they know, especially when they are con artists, they know exactly. I don't understand it for the life of me. You look at a lot of these businessmen who are very strategic, very crafty in what they do, and they will let a woman sweep them off of their feet. Some young women swindle them and get them caught up in a scandal, because the moment he says, I'm not going to leave my wife, she's going to get him caught up in a scandal. Somehow he's allowed her to get close enough to him to know a little bit something about his business affairs, and they burn them every single time. I've never, the only thing, and men don't get mad when I say this, but I always say it, because when I'm doing infidelity cases, men are my easiest. When I'm on a woman, and I'm a woman myself, they are my hardest, because women are strategic and real sly, sneaky about what they do. Men are very easy. A lot don't Men don't take this personal. A lot of men stupid, but that's okay, because a lot of women crazy. Okay, a lot of us are crazy, but a lot of men are just stupid. They are creatures of habit. They're gonna do the same thing. They're not cautious about what they do. Men are crazy and men are stupid and women are crazy. Let's see. Sheikah says, do y'all really think Key Glock would have filmed a video at that shop knowing them people were in Dolph being killed? No, I don't know. I don't think that. And I don't think Key Glock had anything to do with it. But let's see, not to mention Mia J supported that shop since that happened. Let's see. Why do people want to blame Key Glock? Just don't have a feel he would do that. No, Key Glock didn't have nothing to do with that. And I've gotten emails from people being mad at me, child, because they mind told them he had something to do with it. I done told y'all Key Glock being ruled out, and somebody said they mind told them that he had something to do with it. I don't believe it. People, I don't get. I just don't understand the logic of that. Some people will eliminate somebody that is obvious and blames somebody else. There's something wrong with that. But I mean, in my opinion, I don't. That's my opinion. I don't believe he did. Cookie Monster Raven straight lied on Big Facts podcast. Okay. Um, I took notes on a case, and so a lot of lies. Let them repeat it, and it's a different answer. Okay. Doesn't mean because someone is consistent with the truth is telling the truth. That's true. People will be. That's true, and that's what a lot of people don't know. A lot of people, when they're consistent, you know, it don't mean that they're telling the truth just because they say the same thing over and over again. Cheryl Wright said the same thing over and over again, and she got people to believe her when she said, some people were saying, yeah, I think it was drugs related, because her lie never changed. So a lot of people was thinking that some drug dealers, like she said, Lorenzen was going to buy some drugs or something, and he took $100,000 with him. A lot of people were saying, yeah, he had lost a lot of money. I believe he was trying to sell some drugs to make his money back. So you're right, and she never changed. Let's see. I don't understand why people are still stuck on the different stories Raven has given rather than focus on the fact that MPD, the feds, and the FBI are all on this case. They are. What about guys who would kill or throw it all away over a female that they can't control? That's been happening a lot lately too. And you see that mostly with a lot of the younger people. You see that mostly with a lot of the younger people. Very unstable, emotionally unstable. A lot of these kids now can't accept rejection. They can't accept it. Yeah, Sherry is a different type of mental. Jamil says, the thing is truly mafia and straight been planning this hit on Dolph since he signed Big Unc. Wow. Wow. I can believe that. And I feel like with a little motivation, um, won't accept rejection is right. Right. They can't and they won't accept it, you know, and they will, kill. And you see a lot of women, a lot of these younger girls are very emotional, especially around my daughters. I'm 43. My oldest daughter is 23 and my baby girl is 21. So a lot of these a lot of the girls around their age and younger, if they get jealous of a young man not wanting to be with them anymore, they're so emotionally unstable, they will go and try and take the girl out. That's why I'm so protective, and my girls get so mad at me when I go, well, because they're very beautiful girls. And I'm not just saying it because they mine. I mean, it's the truth. And so I always say to them, when they go, well, mama, please, don't go dissecting this, this person I'm talking to. Just let me be normal. No, you need to know who we dealing with, what's going on. Well, mama, it ain't that serious. We just talk on the phone. Let's see. You can't tell those girls nothing on top of sign Big Moochie. But see, Jamil, what you have to understand is Dolph was a businessman. You know, he was a businessman, and so what people fail to understand, those young men, what they knew, it was being instigated too. But people were saying, "Oh, he being disrespectful, this, and that." Um, that man was signing talent. People say Key Glock has something to do with Dolph death, but he don't. He just another target, right? People pay folks to put that narrative into the atmosphere, and then a lot of people will bite, you know. But I know what people do because I've had people send me emails to try to tell me that they feel like Key Glock has something to do with it. You need to talk about that. You need to talk about that because see what had happened was I understand that people who don't want the truth out, and here's the thing, I keep saying it don't really matter, you know, it don't really matter um how people try and change the narrative. It's not going to change nothing. The people already know who their targets are. They already know who's involved. Be quiet, Remy. They already know who is involved, so it's not going to change anything. I heard they arrested Devin Burns overnight. I'm local. Hook me up. You. Okay. Kimberly says she's back. Okay. Jamil says exactly. He was very smart and made business moves that truly you didn't respect. Right. And that's what people would try to do when they can't control you. Stop. When they can't control you, you know. Stop. I was talking to somebody today, you know, um, that says that Key Glock was not dealing, and that's another thing that made them mad. Key Glock wasn't really dealing with them. He had dealt with them at some point. Dolph had pulled away from him, and Key Glock was pulling away from him, had a completely different team and was doing other stuff and had gotten away from them, you know. Yeah. So that further pissed them off. But you know, yeah. Um, let's see. I hate that Dolph was stalked and killed in his own community. Common sense ain't so common at all. That's true. They only saw Key Glock because he cool with Double R. Double R relatives work at the cookie shop. Yeah, like I said, all those kids over there were they went to school together. You know, those communities are right there together. But somebody told me today that Key Glock had started dealing with a whole nother group of folks, you know, and it made, you know, some people they was already, so it didn't take much to pay them off to go do that because they was already mad about a multitude of things. They only say Key Glock because okay, Double R and truly a B feminist T. You say the females are emotional now. I think well that's true, Sky. I'll say this, the women only get emotional when they love the guys really hard. You talking about a woman, because it's a lot of younger couples that are married. Why they get married, I don't know. But they they get emotional. Okay. They get emotional when you have proof that their person is doing something, you know, especially if they already felt it. You have to understand a lot of times when these men cheat, they be cheating with some of their friends. So that further angers them. You know, you talking about that type of betrayal, you know, but yeah, the men are too. But a lot of the men that come to me are mature men that have something to lose, you know. So they are always very sad, you know. They kind of want to lean on me, which is cool because like I said, I get a lot of good guys to come to me. I don't think I would if I got one of these young kids to walk in there. Hey, I need you to watch my girl. They be having the money too. I wouldn't do it because I know that's trouble. That is trouble, child. Because I would be scared to give him my findings because he liable to go over there and do something. I wouldn't take that case. Tastemaker says it doesn't matter how much money and families involved when gang ties are involved. You have to take that deal. Wow. What bothers me is the gang affiliation out of all of this. She says Double R is starting to confuse me. They arguing with everyone. I don't know. Um these young men behave like they in relationships. I think at this point, because you know, we don't know who was all involved. You know, they probably scared, a lot of them. Um Terica, I'm just talking about like on the phone. What about the reps in Tennessee trying to pass the note? Yeah, they. That's why I say we have to be careful about these politicians that we elect, these lawmakers that we elect, because a lot of them be pedophiles, and what they do is they will run for office because they have an agenda, and they want to go and be able to mess with as many little girls as they can. So they want to be able to marry children. And so they'll run for office and then they quietly change laws because we don't pay attention and we be so busy fighting amongst each other. We be so busy fighting amongst each other. Hello, Miss Shirley. With all due respect, this is deeper than lava. Yeah. I was the guy that was at the beach with my fiance, and I had to get back to Houston to hear you on live. I don't know if you remember that. Yeah, I remember that. Mr. Carl, um, thank you for tuning in too. Hakia, that's facts. This is about money. Yeah, Kansas. Yeah. I'll be glad when they put their findings and stuff out. I know I will. I don't know about y'all, but I know I'll be glad. Because I don't know everything. I don't know everybody that was involved either. I'm in the dark too. So I'll be glad when all of this stuff come out um about this case. I know people want to know. Sometimes it ain't even good to know everything. Knowing a whole lot is not good. Chop off the head, the body will fall. Levon, he had too many jealousy on a different level. Yeah, women want wild wolves or street dudes or felons. I can't understand that because a lot of times, see noise when I was able to when I've caught women cheating, they go from their very beautiful homes in the suburbs, and you catch them over in the hood, way in the backwoods, in a house, cheating with a man who, if you sneezed, his house might fall on top of your head. I'm serious. I'm like, what in the hell is this? Why in the God? I'm gonna go up. I'm going to get me a job because I'm tired of this. And I'm serious. I'm like, God, you got to go tell her husband that she cheating with little Romeo that lives in the backwoods in a shack. Let's see, me too. So many mind can rest. Yeah, so my mind can rest. Yeah. Little boys too, Miss Tamara. I just wish they would stop killing each other, period. It doesn't matter what it is. Families are affected on, that's true. Both families will be affected on all sides. That's true. Because even like the people that are involved in this, all of the people, their families, the majority of the time, they don't have anything to do with this. So, of course, they still love their loved one, regardless to what they did. So, thank you, by Capricorn. So, yeah, they're affected by this too. Especially the children when their fathers and stuff have to go away for life. Tennessee Miss Sector said, "Ain't no way I'm cheating with a scrub from the passenger side." At Kansas City, Mac, please be respectful. Who's um S Guy? They've been signed them years ago. They just now getting recognition. All right, you guys. Um, let's see. I only wanted to be on here for like 30 minutes. I ended up being on here for like 2.5 hours, y'all. Um, yeah. I ended up being on here for like 2.5 hours. I appreciate y'all hanging out with me. Of course, y'all know I'm not gonna get on tonight. You know, um, I won't be on tomorrow night either, but I'll be back on Saturday night. We're gonna talk about some stuff. What is my favorite Dolph record? He's got several. I like that song. Um, um, these niggas ain't nothing to me. These niggas ain't nothing to me. These niggas ain't effing with me. And that's a song with Snoop Bands and Paper Route Woo. Then he's got a song that I love. Get paid, young nigga, get paid. I mean, everybody go crazy when that song come on. And what else? He's got another song, 100 shots. I like that song. Yep, I like that song too. And people tripping. Y'all didn't think I knew his songs? Y'all didn't think I knew that song? 100 shots. I'm gonna tell y'all the favorite, my favorite. I've been listening to him since he, cause see, I met Dolph one time. I met him in a hot wing shop. He was buying people food then. He had an album. Uh, Ron Park says, "Tell your mama you love her while she here." That's my anthem. That's true, Ron Parks. That's true. And love me, yeah. Go get that money. Yeah, that's a good one. Player Code says favorite album from Dolph. I guess all of those songs are on Dolph World, right? I don't know. Preach still hits every time. Let's see. Jamia Thomas says, high class street music. Who know about it? It shouldn't matter who pre-signed. That's their business. Whom they choose to sign. Allegedly, Dolph didn't sign Straight Drop because of sexual. Yeah. Uh. Yeah. Like to hear him say it's Dolph. Yeah, it's Dolph. Trapping out the mansion. Three best work. Okay. That's what put him on. Snooty was so cute. That hurt me more than Dolph. Yeah. I didn't know a lot about Snooty Wiles, Lakeisha. I didn't, but I hate that for him, for his family and stuff. I hate that. I hope they get justice for Snooty. I hope they get justice for Snooty, for Jeremiah, for anybody that has lost their life to violence. Yeah, to anybody that has lost their name to their loved ones to violence. Uh, I wish I could play some of his music. Ron Park says, "Hey, hey, Dolph." See, Noah says, "What age does black men grow gray hair?" Answer, y'all. Shoot, I see some of these young men in their early 30s with gray hair. A lot more, and they're having heart attacks very early on too. A lot of these people are stressed out, and that's the truth. It's more and more people are stressed, you know, and it has been engineered. I see what's going on. Poverty ignites crime. Okay, I was looking at, y'all do know, and I gotta say this, and I don't want nobody to get offended. I was looking at, y'all know I love to look at like Animal Planet in my downtime. I have a thing for lions. I love lions. And I love to look at lion documentaries. I love to look at whales and dolphin documentaries, right? They have personalities. I love it. Animals. It's amazing. And now I love to look at monkeys. And scientists do a lot of research on monkeys. Genetically, monkeys are closely related to us than any other animal, right? And I hate the way that they do the monkeys, because like I said, they have the same emotions and stuff that we have, but a lot of humans are very evil. They are. And so what they do is, and they're doing the exact same thing with humans. When I say poverty ignites crime, If you ever look at monkeys and you see when the humans go out there in the wild and they try to disrupt what goes on in the wild and make monkeys domestic, they've studied their behaviors. They'll go out there and they'll put like a lot of bananas in a box, right? But it's so many monkeys out there in the wild that every monkey can't get a banana. And they know this, right? So they'll take a big box out there in the wild and they'll put a big box of bananas and they'll sit it down and the monkeys be swarming around. This is the truth. The monkeys be swarming around doing all they can to try to get the bananas. They be all they you know, and monkeys will be very abusive to the younger monkeys and the babies, especially when it comes to food. And if you see how they be constantly that like they be getting one, they be getting two bananas, as many as they can get, and running with them. And when the bananas run out, all those monkeys who didn't get a banana, they start fighting. Like when I say fighting, it be brutal fighting. And they do that on purpose. Okay. You talking about, I believe these be scientists. They put this stuff all on YouTube. They know whichever monkey does not get a banana, because they can put enough bananas out there for all of them, really. Whatever monkey doesn't get a banana, they find the weakest link and they go and abuse that other monkey to try to get that, take that banana. And I think that's kind of what they're doing to humans. And I'm serious. What they do is they know that poverty ignites crime. And they give a few people something, or make resources available to a few people, and it makes the other people, and it shouldn't be like that, but people don't really have morals and stuff anymore. These drugs, they really own a lot of drugs, and if they fried their brains and stuff, it makes them want to go and attack those people, that do have. They understand that lack and poverty ignites crime. Okay, that's true. Magname Ace. That's why um I love to look at animal documentaries. You know, I have this thing about, because I used to go and volunteer at the YWCA, right? I've worked with nonprofit organizations that help women that have been sexually abused and that has been abused, domestic violence. I used to like to do that in my um in my off time. So I never understood the reason I say I love lions so much, and I'm serious. If you ever look at a lion documentary, child, I done seen all of them. I probably be a little weird because I done seen. I be so excited when I be seeing a new lion documentary. I go, oh, I ain't seen it. I be so happy, and I get some popcorn when I get some free time and look at it. But if you look at the lions, when a lion when their cubs get of a certain age, right? This is why I don't understand how this incest stuff. I don't understand it. You can learn a lot from animals. When a cub starts to get bigger, okay, the king of their pride, which is the male lion, he's the king of different of that particular pride. They will kick that lion. I don't understand why either, Nancy. We're gonna talk about that in a minute. They will kick that lion out of their pride. You know why? So that, because they don't want the male lion to get old enough and go into heat and um start breeding with their sisters and their cousins, because that causes incest. I mean, that's incest, and that causes, like, I forgot what it's called when it comes, something comes out wrong with the cubs. Somebody tell me, I forgot. It was on the tip of my tongue. God, it causes some kind of a defect to the cubs. So if a lion that's in a cub that he has sisters and cousins and stuff is caught trying to have sex with them, the male lion will kill them, because that's a no-no, right? So they have to go at a certain age. The male lion kicks them out of the pride. They have to go way to the other side of the Serengeti or the jungle and start their own pride. Inbreed, absolutely. So if a lion understands that you ain't supposed to be um having sex with your close relatives or whatever, your sisters, your cousins and stuff. What's going on with the humans? I'm trying to figure out what's going on with the humans. That's true. We basically are lions and lionesses. Yeah. I'm a Leo for real. I'm a lion. But yeah, animals, you can definitely learn a lot from animals. I just think that a lot of the things that us humans do, we destroy. We destroy life, you know. Nancy Drew, what's cap? We destroy life. We do a lot of other stuff. Nancy says female lions hunt and the male lions lay around sometimes. They hunt only sometimes. Right. That's because the male lions weigh more and they're heavier. The female lions run faster and they're able to catch the prey. Male lions get tireder. They get tired faster because of their weight. So the females always go out and do the hunting, and the males just kind of lay around and protect the territory. They don't, that's what they do. And then they eat up all the food. The male lions, the females can't eat. And the ladies now, I be hating to say this, that only happens in the lion world where the females don't eat until the lions get full. We don't do that in real life. Because when I say we can learn a lot from animals, you have somebody saying, Tamara said I shouldn't eat till after my husband. The devil is a lie. You eat with him. But they just do that with the lions, not for the humans. Let's see one of my phones. Thank you, Miss Mary. Thank you for the cash out. Oh, okay. She says, Tamara, I was relaying to Capricorn. Why was she Fontaine, inbred, etc.? Okay. Hannah, we have to answer to God for our good and evil. Yeah, the lioness are quicker. Right. Yeah, the lion. Ronald Parks is tickled. Feed the man and children, then she would eat. Right. Well, the women eat, and sometimes because a lot depending on the cub's size, the lioness be needing to eat because the cub drinks milk. A lot of times they won't even let the cub. I be thinking that's wrong though. But the lions have to be able to, because a lot of times when they hunting, those buffalo be beating them up for real. They just don't show that. They get injured a whole lot. Look at me talking about lions, Lord. Tavia. Tavia says big cap. He threw him out the pride to get it all to himself. That's not true. That's not true. I've looked at every lion documentary, but heck no, everybody eat. Yeah. What trips me out is the monkeys. Yeah, I love looking at the monkeys though. I have table manners for different cultures. The girl's name is Capricorn. Okay. Um, name Magname says they would do that. Lord Footage says, what's the solution for the hoodie hood? I don't know, Lord Footage, you tell me. We all are gonna have to unify. That's one thing. We're gonna have to unify. And if you're talking about poverty, I will say this: when you start talking about poverty, when I say poverty ignites crime, what a lot of people don't understand is these politicians, we have to watch who we elect. See, people don't want to hear that. They'll go, I don't vote. And see, what people don't know is, like I said, I know what they do. My dad was an elected official for 20 years. My dad never did this, but I know how they pay people to put propaganda into the atmosphere. They'll have an intern to go on the internet and start spreading stuff, and it goes viral. They have interns, a post that seems so real. I ain't gonna vote. My vote don't count. And for some reason, if they share a story that sounds good enough, and then at the end of it, they go, my vote don't count. That's why I don't vote. People start reading that, and people just start catching on to that and running with it. Well, I ain't gonna vote. My vote don't count. And that's what these crooks, especially the ones that's crooked, That's what they want. They don't want you to vote. These politicians have a lot of power. We have a lot of money and resources to come into our communities, especially the poor communities. That's why we have to watch these politicians, because they don't allocate it to the right places or the right things. Just because we put somebody, in office, don't and they look like us, don't mean we don't have to watch them. So we have to get the right politicians in. Thank you, Miss Tanya. I'm trying to click on it for the super sticker. Miss Tanya G. So one of the solutions is being active and being proactive in these races and getting these politicians out that are raping our community. I think it's a shame when a politician say to the Black community, they do it to the Black community because no politician can win if they don't have the support of the Black community. And what they do is play the Black people. So that's one of the things we can do, Lord Footage. All facts, I agree. Because the lion have all the lioness. She just typed inbred. I was wondering why she typed that. Probably missed something. If that is the case, then I apologize. So the gray hair is mostly stress, not wisdom or genetic. It could be genetic too, C Noise, because you see people that are in their early teens and stuff that have gray hair. Sometimes it is. We got to captivate the minds of the youth. You're right. I agree with you on that, Lord Footage. I agree. Because the youth is our future. They are. Your kids eat first. You can eat afterwards. The kids definitely eat first. Or some women let the man and kids eat first. But I don't know of a whole lot of men that would, if the food was scarce, they let their women and children eat first. My aunt will let the kids eat, then the husband, then she eats. That is a habit because she took care of her siblings. Was the oldest. I know a woman that did that. She would let her husband and her kids eat first, and if they ate all of the food, then she would cook her something else. Thank you, Tanya G, for the 99-cent super sticker. I appreciate that. Miss Tamara, why don't you open a record label and control the narrative? I wish I could, but I they wouldn't want me to open a record label. We need people who are passionate about stuff like that. I wish that there was some people with integrity, a lot of integrity, that could open record labels and teach these young men with this talent how to be independent, and not make it a pyramid scheme. Some people are just really greedy. A lot of these record labels and companies, they're very greedy. They don't want nobody to go off on their own. They don't want nobody to have their own. If you're going to have something, you need to be up under me so that I can get the majority of the profits. Those people, we need to be trying to dismantle stuff like that. Don't get me started. I got mad. It's something came over me. I don't know why, but I just felt that in my spirit. It made me real angry. So I probably don't need to talk about that. We need Black people to take control of the things the young Black people likes. That's why I trip out. Some of these YouTubers, they put that energy into another YouTuber. They need to put that energy into your mayor in your government. Absolutely. 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 Mike Jones, I agree. All this negative energy, all of that fighting energy, put it into what counts. And that's making the future better for ourselves and our children. That's why I say getting on here serves a purpose. You know what I mean? I know it reaches a lot of people, and it ain't to fight other YouTubers. I refuse to do it. I have a table manner book, rituals for what order they want, for what order they eat in. Oh, okay. All skin folks and kin folks. That's true. In the Chinese culture, the grandmother eats first. Okay. I don't have the elderly, right? The Chinese, the elderly people, they really respect their elders in the Chinese culture. I heard that Black Lives Matter got millions, and I wonder what they doing with it. That is exactly how they did the judge, the senator from Texas, Ted Cruz. African culture, the man eats first. If he wants one of the kids to eat with him, he can by his choice, and the woman eats with the kids. Oh, okay. The biggest should eat first, or the hungriest. Black community and poor whites. Same as I hold the door for mine. I like to make the meal and everybody come eat with when told is done. Yeah. Tanya G says my intro music should be as Dolph. That then I think that they would the copyright stuff. The way you eat when you get there. Let's see, Hakia. WREG News is popping. They popping. Okay, guys. We've been on here. I got on early today. I think still a lot of people are at work, but we got on here and we chatted for a while today. Thank you, C Noise. C Noise says, Tamara, I've only been listening for a couple of weeks, but you're a nice and just well balanced mind and delivery. Thank you. Magname A says, where I'm from, we all eat together. That's true. That's what happened in my house. We all ate together. When my mama said food ready, we all ate together. Now she fixed some plates for some people, but he says he likes to help cook and clean after. Well, you're a good one because folks be so full, everybody be running, so they won't have to help wash dishes. Earlier than normal. Yeah, I was on earlier than normal. I only got on to be on like 30 minutes. We done been on almost 3 hours. I like to eat together with my family too. I think that's a very personal time, a very important time when you could sit together and eat with your family. That's really when you start discussing family issues. People don't do that anymore because everybody is working at different times and they got things to do and stuff. I think families need to get back to eating together and fellowshipping together. Yep. Thank you, Miss Kim. Well, y'all, I'm gonna get off here. I enjoyed y'all today. Like I said, I got on today because I wanted to rest in peace, young dog said Miss T. It's kind of suspicious every time. Is that every time Dolph got shot at, it was 50 plus shots. Yeah, that's true. So why you think it was always what you think? Young dog. What I mean, I keep calling him young dog. Rest in peace, young dog. Why do you think it was always 50 plus shots? Oh, okay, Capricorn. I did apologize because I said might have missed something. Okay. I just ate and I'm cleaning now. Okay. I'm excited about my books. Have fun, Tam. Thank you, Tennessee Miss Sector. But yeah, y'all make sure y'all go and look at the lion documentaries. Like I said, I like lions. I like looking at lions. I like studying their behavior and stuff. And they are very strategic, smart animals. Because every time it was supposed to be a hit. Well, that's true. Thank you, Miss Tanya G, for the what's that, a super sticker? Thank you. I appreciate that so much. Black Lives Matter, buying mansions and etc. Yeah, they're still in the American dream, Hakia. They are. And that's why we have to have good politicians that can stop them from stealing our American dream. You got people from all overseas buying up our property in the United States and doubling, they outbidding us on houses and then tripling the price. They're stealing the American dream. Tamara, that is how Obama made peace with someone. The person was eating at his table. Okay. Yeah, it's working now. I'm glad. I don't know, what went on, but it's working. Yeah, I put those dolphins in there. But when I got on earlier, y'all, it was just I had had lunch with a friend, and it was, like our conversation was very touching, and we started talking about knowing your worth. Talking about knowing your worth. Always remember, people that you do business with, everybody has a talent. Everybody's talent is different. And people that you do business with, yes, I am a Leo. People that you do business with know your worth. And oftentimes when they acquire your service, and you can give them your real price because they've already watched you and they know what your worth is. Okay? So just know your worth and use the gifts and stuff that God has given you. Thank you, Magname Ace. Thank you for the super sticker. Thank you so much. Miss Tamara, how do you feel about the Black woman Supreme Court pick? Judge Joe can't stand her. Y'all know what? Y'all want me to be honest. See, I be just okay. I don't know. I don't know. Because you have to think about, look at the stuff that anything that Biden is doing at this point kind of makes me real suspicious. Because, you know, I don't know. It seems like things have gotten a lot worse with him. It has. I just, Akia says Pops 812. He was greeted back in the day. But anything Biden does, these people buying up properties from overseas like crazy. Smart and strategic, everything, Miss T. Thank you, by Capricorn. Hakia, peace and blessings. Thank you, Miss Tanya G. Thank you. Have great content. Have a great day. Thank you, love. I appreciate you. Okay, just asking. I'm 32. We learning now from being born in the 80s and 90s. Yeah. Told everybody Trump it was okay. I'd rather know my enemy. Biden has never been for us. I was trying to tell people. I said Biden ain't for black people. He ain't for nobody. He ain't for black people and he ain't for poor white people, really. You got to think about all these celebrities was wanting for Biden to be in office. You have to wonder why. You think about how sick and greedy a lot of these celebrities are. And I tried to tell y'all about Kamala. He went and got a black woman that don't even identify with being black. That has built her career off of overcharging African American men mostly, who did not have money to fight those charges that she put on them, and getting convictions to get her resume, make her resume look good. So overcharging poor black people that could not hire defense attorneys to build her resume and getting convictions. Biden said in the 60s when he first ran, when they asked him, when they was talking about segregation, they were segregating the schools, he said it would be a disaster for my children to have to go to school with Negro children. And then black people went and elected him. If that wasn't bad enough, when Clinton was in office, he helped Clinton to come up with that 3 strikes rule, a law that's got a lot of innocent black men in jail to this very day for running red lights or going to jail for 3 times on misdemeanors, and he have not reversed any of them. And that took a lot of productive African American men from their families, and they're in jail for life. And now they wanted crime to get out of control. Now they're in the process, because crime is so out of control and people are tired of it. They're in the process, him and Kamala, of they're writing up a new law to get the rest of them. But see, they don't want the hardcore criminals that are out there killing people and messing up their communities. They want productive black men, because if you get a productive black man and you put him in jail for a long time, you got all of these private prisons that was coming up. No, I said Biden, Miss Nancy. You got all of these billionaires that's building these private prisons. So if you can get a productive African American man, falsely accuse him of a crime, put him in jail. Um, okay, so what happens is he's got a family that's gonna fight the system. You know, they ain't got no money, but they're gonna come up with money, put money together to fight the system. They're gonna pay for those telephones that they got in the private prisons, and they're gonna keep commissary money on his books to buy their commissary. That's their strategy. And we sit up and fight with each other rather than fighting that and putting in the right politicians. But we rather fight with somebody about a YouTube vlog. That absolutely hurts the community, because whether people want to believe it or not, we do need productive African American men in the community, because all of them are not criminals, and a lot of them are products of their community. Poverty ignites crime. They absolutely know that. Trump will be back in 2024. You teaching today, sister. Thank you, Hero Fix. Um, Page T Clean, $1 billion industry, jail, penitentiary. Yeah. Using celebrities to incite others to vote for Biden. That's absolutely what they do, Miss Nancy. That's what they did. You know, when have the celebrities ever cared about the everyday people? They don't. So it had to have been something in that for them. I'm gonna tell y'all something, because I have worked cases on human trafficking. I know how bad it is. Families have hired us. You know, when Trump got into office, I saw when they started. Trump is, I think I've said this before, he's vindictive. Okay, he's not a politician, but he's vindictive. And so Trump has been rich his whole life, so he was a part of that system, so he knew where all the skeletons lie. So when he got into office and they started giving him all that bad publicity and stuff because they couldn't control him, he became vindictive and opened up the bank on them. He gave everybody some money for businesses, right? He had money circulating. That was never supposed to happen. They was absolutely angry. And because I work these human trafficking laws, these human trafficking cases and stuff, families hire me to try to find their children, hire my firm. I saw where Trump exposed, you saw reason he was firing a lot of different FBI agents is because he was trying to get a lot of those corrupt ones out, right? And that's when you started seeing like Jeffrey Epstein and all of these billionaires started getting arrested. And you started seeing people being arrested almost every week for human trafficking. They started finding children. I know this happened. Okay, nobody can. This happened. He started busting that human trafficking ring open, because a lot of these politicians that we got in office. That's why y'all always hear me say, "Why ain't every crime in America solved with the intelligence that the FBI got?" I said, why have we never seen, why are there so many, why ain't all these cases solved? And that's because you have a lot of these politicians who are at the head of these human trafficking rings. I can't tell you about how many stories. There's a lady in California right now, talk about there's a politician, a senator or something. in California or a Congress or somebody. He's really big on when kids are out of order or something, sending them to like children's homes. And then the kids will go missing. Especially if they were beautiful girls, they was putting them into human trafficking. It's $1 billion industry selling our children. A lot of these folks, when their kids go missing, they never see their children again because they're being sold overseas to these countries and these billionaires, these Arabs that marry children, and they will pay top dollar. They're billionaires. They'll pay $500,000, $1 million to get them a child that's a virgin, which is a 5 or 6 year old child, and these folks never see their children again. And it's happening right here. Let me see. Paige T. Clean says Trump tops all bad media and put him on the spot. He stayed fired and exposed too many high. Yes, he did, and they got black people emotional. I'm gonna tell y'all something. I'm an African American woman with businesses. My businesses made more money, and I didn't vote for Trump the first time when Trump was in office, and I figured out what was going on. I made more money because there was more resources made available. It was never supposed to be made available to the black people. I'm telling y'all, these are the games that they play. When Biden got into office, he quickly shut down funding for black businesses. And I ain't talking about no PPP stuff. I'm talking about funding for black businesses that he did not shut down for other races. And then he turned around and tripled the food stamps as if all we want is food stamps, and then talk about he was going to legalize crack pipes. If that wasn't an insult, you strip away what could be generational wealth that everybody else is getting as far as building businesses in our community, because to him, like he said in the 60s, it would be a disaster for his kids to go to school with any of us. Black people are supposed to stay in their place, and y'all put that simp in office again. And now him and Kamala are working on another law that's really going to target black men that are on misdemeanors that are productive, because they don't want just any old body that ain't got no family, that ain't gonna put money through them private jail systems. When the truth of the matter is, Clinton and them wants to come up with that 3-strike rule law to get a lot of these drug dealers off of the streets back then, because Clinton's brother, Bill Clinton's brother at the time, was one of the biggest drug dealers in Arkansas, and he was trying to get his competition off of the street. But black people thought that he was their first black president because he played a darn saxophone. See, we're hard on each other, but it's so easy for us to let other people play us. Anyways, let's see. Daniel Turbo says, your skin might be black and mine ain't, but believe me when I say I'm blacker than you fam. Go take your Maserati for a drive then and stop being a child. And a lot of us got paid under Trump. Black business, yeah. Trump helped us more than any other president, period. Don't forget the women they take over there and how these women are treated. They're beaten and killed. That's true. It's Dolph, but she covers it all. It's what's that? S'more gas board over here. I know, right? Miss T stay dropping gems. Thank you, Monica. That PPP didn't set right with me. I can tell you true stories about Bill Clinton that will make your head spin. Oh, I'm sure I know about the evil that he and his wife have done, especially to young girls. People ain't ready for that though. Trump know that we are real Jews as blacks. I want her to talk about young Dolph, not Trump. The black media over here putting in work. She didn't talk about what she wants. You need to chill out, Daniel. Let's talk about Yo Gotti and how he used to be a dancer. Oh, Lord. She talks about Dolph a lot. Where you been? Yeah, we've been talking about Dolph almost the whole 3 hours. We talked about Dolph. We talked about Lorenzen Wright. We talked more about Dolph. Yes, we did. Yeah. So y'all put those dolphin signs in the chat. Y'all put those dolphin signs in the chat. Y'all know how we do it. We want to keep that spirit of Dolph around. I agree with you. I'm over these record labels. I want to see more artists become independent. Right. And what they do is they go and get some big head, no good dog to and give him a few $1,000,000 to go around promoting to the kids in the hood that are talented that it ain't good to be independent. You need to get with a record company. We gonna put a lot of money behind you. Give them a few $100,000, if that, and rape them financially. We don't want that. We want to overthrow all that kind of stuff and all those types of people. Nancy said, right, Tamara, that Saks food them didn't impress me at all. Thank you, Hakia. Miss T, the properties that were left to Dolph, his kids, to Dolph's kids can't be sold by the estate. No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. Dolph said when he said if something ever happened to me, my kids gonna know I was their daddy. They had been trying to kill him so much. The boy had some stuff on paper, and most rich people have lawyers there as over that. So they got it in concrete. A player Cody said, I wasn't talking about nobody specifically. That just came out. See noise. I be getting mad when you have people in our community that come from nothing and they take crumbs and money to further keep allowed to take money to further keep us oppressed, because that's the game plan. We spend more money than any other race, and I'm not trying to make this a racial thing because I know I have all races on here, but Black people spend, at one point we were spending about $3 trillion a year. We're supposed to be the ones in power. We spend the most money, we spend the most dollars, but instead Black people take crumbs to keep their community oppressed. These Black boys are the ones with the talent. You ought to feel, a lot of these folks ought to feel less than a human to be keeping their community oppressed for a few $1,000,000 or less, or having the illusion of power, because they ain't really got no power. They want a pat on the back from these people that are oppressing us, whether it be a Black person or a white. The Black dollar stays in the Black community for 6 seconds. I'm telling you, Black people try to figure out any way not to do business with a Black person. Thank you. Who's that? Team Footage. That sent a cash app. Thank you, Team Footage. Black people try to figure out any way not to do business with other Black people. And I'm gonna tell y'all something. I don't mean no harm when I say this. Please, I don't want nobody else to take this personal, okay? But when you walk into the Asian store, they follow you around that beauty supply store to let you know that they don't trust you. But you can't stay out of there. You be in there every other day trying to get some grease for your head. But you won't support. You try to find any reason not to support a Black business in your community. Let me tell you something. The reason I love New York City. If people in New York know this, if you go in New York, they have different communities. They have different communities. And you have the Italian community, you have the Jewish, you have, and they have their businesses and stuff set up in these communities. You have the Asian communities. Now, unless it has changed, they even got their own banks. But unless it has changed, I when you go into those communities, because I like going to Little Italy because there's authentic Italian food. I love it. That's my favorite food, Italian. So, but you go to all the other communities, they have their businesses. But when you go into their communities, you don't really, you don't, I've never seen a soul food restaurant set up in their communities. But when you go over there to Harlem, you know, you see mostly other communities set up in our communities. That's true, Nancy. So in every hood, you see beauty supply stores. And in actually in our hoods, we really should be owning the beauty supply stores. But we're so against each other. As long as it's not another black person, we okay with it. If black people started owning, the mentality of us at this point, if black people started owning, and my point is, we allow other people to come into our communities. What the young lady said, the black dollar stays in the black community 6 seconds. We allow everybody to come into our communities and hijack our communities, when actually we should own the majority of the stores in our communities. But for some reason, because our hate for self and what we see when we look in the mirror, the majority of us and our communities, we don't want to support anything in our communities. If black people started owning um the beauty supply stores in our communities, a lot of black people would find a reason to be killing them at this point with the way that our mindset is. And that's sad because of jealousy. Y'all, we gotta stop this stuff. We do. We got to stop this stuff and start supporting each other. My thing is, there's enough money. The United States print up our own money. There's enough money out there floating around for everybody. I ain't getting into no bucket to fight like no crab. Anytime there's money anywhere, as I was saying about how they do studies and they put a big box of bananas out there that they know are not going to be enough for those monkeys, and then they start fighting with each other when all of the monkeys don't get a banana. They study monkeys like that, and that's what they're doing to us. Whereas if we united, they couldn't do that to us. In the 20s, because black people had to stick together, that's when the Black Wall Street was, and those were rich black people because they had to support each other. There is power in unity, but we won't do that. We won't do it. That's why when I get on here, it ain't no cap. When I get on here and I say, "Look, I get emails. I know what people would do. I could see who was behind the emails if I wanted to. I got men that could do it, but I ain't gonna do it because I don't have that crabs in a barrel mentality. I don't want to know no dirt on no other YouTuber, and I ain't get ready to try and go up against one because I ain't got that crabs in a barrel mentality. I ain't gonna get ready to try and get with people to try to make somebody else seem like they're lying, and we'll get everybody coming over here. I don't do stuff like that because I understand what's for me. A devil in hell can't stop it no ways. That's the type of mentality I have. I ain't never wanted to crawl in no bucket and fight. Catherine says, you would never go in no other area and find nothing and nobody other than their own people. Absolutely. And we spend a lot of money in our communities. We do, because a lot of the stuff we care about, other people don't care about. We go get our nails and stuff done. But then when a black girl is doing nails, well, I can't go to her because she charged $5 more. Well, we can't get mad at the Asians because they stick together. They're not afraid to go together to buy stuff in bulks so that their prices can be low. That's what they do. You can't get mad at them for their strategy. Black people can do it, but we too be. I don't want nobody to know my plug. They had gonna know my plug. Then your prices got to be $10 more, and you get mad because people are trying to budget. When we could eliminate that if we went together in bulks. But you scared about they had gonna know my plug. When the Asians ain't worried about that, they thinking about the bottom line, and we have not been taught to think about the bottom line. Yep, we haven't. My dad has always taught me, even when I was emotional, I would get mad at stuff. You're not thinking about the bottom line. You don't think about the bottom. Think about the bottom line, because when it all comes down to it, that's all that matters. We don't think about that. We scared somebody gonna come up more than us. Whereas people deal with you based on your personality anyways. Okay? So you can't get mad when you see somebody might have a little bit more than you, because people will deal with you based on how they like you anyways. Okay? If they don't like you, you ain't gonna get them to deal with you. I don't care what kind of tricks you try to pull. They just ain't gonna like you. And I say again, that's why I don't crawl into buckets to fight. Do you know how long that has been said? This been going on for a long time. The talk of unity. I don't know what it's going to take. I don't know what it's going to take either. That Willie Lynch stuff is definitely real. That man said, I got a formula. Even after blacks are free from slavery, I got a formula that's going to keep them enslaved in the mind for over 100 years. Damn if it ain't working. A lot of these black men can't catch a break because they know the word of God, but I don't know if they believe it. The Bible says that when a man findeth a woman, and see, that's why they try to keep keep us, is it ununified in our community, especially black men and black women. They want us to hate each other. These black men can't even get a contract unless they are disrespecting the black woman. Now let me go into this. I'm gonna go a little deeper. Let me go a little further. The Bible says that when a man findeth a wife, he finds a good thing and obtains favor from God. A lot of them can't catch a break because they misusing and mistreating their favor. Because when they get through, that Bible is true. He obtains favor from God. That's why when a lot of men get a good woman, he starts to flourish because of the anointing and the favor on her life. But a lot of men now, they have the personality, or their character is, I'm going to try to come up off a woman, and God ain't pleased by that. She's supposed to be his helpmate. He's supposed to take care of her. Instead, he's such a wimp. He's wanting her to take care of him financially, and that's out of order. But let me go a little further. When we came over here, I'm gonna tell you how powerful black women are, and that's why a lot of things are out of order with these black men thinking they can mistreat black women. They don't appreciate black women, although their mother struggled to put food in their darn mouths. When they was black, our ancestors, especially black women, have always been powerful. When people say, they didn't want the slaves to talk, so they would cut their tongues out of their mouths and this and that, they ain't gonna tell you the whole story of how when the slave masters came over and when they would chain them and get ready to put them on the ship, the reason they would cut the tongues out of the mouths of the black women is because when the black women would start chanting in prayer together, that's why God says, with 2 or 3 agree, I'll be in the midst. When they would start chanting, when they knew what the slave masters was getting ready to do to them, put them on their boat and enslave them, they would start chanting, and the slave masters would have a heart attack right then and there, just like that, and die. That's the power of the tongue, especially when you got a divine connection with God. Okay? And ain't nothing changed to this day except for a lot of women don't know their worth and they're out of alignment. And nothing lines up when you're out of alignment. Okay? I understand everything has a purpose. That's why when my head and stuff started hurting and people started getting on here, because I pray before I get on here and I'm in tune to the word of God. When my head started hurting, I know that's a demon that's coming to try to throw me off, because this serves a purpose. Some people are on a mission from the enemy and they can't even realize they're being used. That jealousy and stuff ain't nothing but missions from the enemy. They don't want words to get out. They don't want people to be encouraged. They don't want folks to know their worth. They don't want nothing to go forth, because words are powerful. Words are spells. They don't want somebody to speak life into somebody. So they come, the enemy puts them on a mission to try to stop things from going forward. Thank you, Miss Monica J, for the cash out. They don't want that. That's why even when people try to come at me, try to discredit me, you don't hear me say no more now. Okay. Because I ain't letting nobody take me off of the mission. And each and every time you let people take you off of your mission, because each and every person is divinely assigned to souls that you don't even know yet, because we're all on a mission. Each and every time you get off the road, somebody else suffers that you don't even know, because what God has, the mission that God has put you on, is tied up to somebody else's life. So that's why I don't get into a whole lot of stuff. I try to stay on course. And a lot of people are off of course. And until there is some reconciliation, thank you, Miss Tanya G, again. Until there is some reconciliation with the African American woman and the African American men, until there is some reconciliation, you're going to always be off balance, because your woman is your blessing. She ain't to be played with, to be messed with, to be beat on, to be misused. She is your blessing. Okay? She is your blessing. And I say the same thing, because I have a lot of men to come through here that are being cheated on, and all they doing is working. But ladies got to know their worth, because there have been a lot of women that have been damaged. Like when they say little girls are fast and promiscuous and all of that, you don't know what people have gone through. A lot of these people have been molested. I always look at a deeper problem. Everybody on here has had sex. Nobody wants any and every man on them. You can't even kiss people that you don't like. It grosses you out. So when you see a person that's doing something like that, you know that there's an issue. It ain't because they like sex. They're too young to even understand what it's about. But instead of talking about them, we need to be trying to figure out the issue. And then the world is so twisted now and so perverted when they see real young girls, because they looking at TV talking about the younger the better. A lot of people say they don't believe in messing with young girls, but they want something as young as they can get, when there is absolutely no match. It's perverted. Okay? When actually the man is the protector. He's supposed to be protecting the women. I remember a time that, I don't care whether you was with them or not, even the hood dudes, you could not come in the hood and try to violate no woman or child, period. They protected their hoods. That's what the gangs was doing when I was coming up. I don't know what in the hell they doing now. But you couldn't come over there talking about protecting them, doing anything to the women and children. And here's the thing: if it was other gangs that came to the hood to confront some of the hood dudes, they didn't mess with the women or the children. They didn't want to, because they knew that was off limits. Because they knew they wouldn't get ready to let nobody come to their hood and mess with the women and the children. Yeah, we got to stop. We got to stop protecting wrong behavior too, and start back protecting our children. Y'all know little Rufus was thrown off in the families, but instead, for some reason, Black families try and protect child molesters because they're ashamed that he's sick. I remember when I was working for MPD, there was this guy that came up there, and he had been in jail before for touching on his little nieces right up there off of South Parkway. And he had gone to jail. He had gone to the crazy house, and he had been going to church. And the detectives asked him, "Why do you keep molesting these kids?" He said, "I told him." He said, "I've been to church," and he was a little thrown off. He said, "I've been to church. They prayed for me. I've been baptized." He said, "Now I was telling my mama that I keep trying to tell myself I don't want to touch my little nieces and my little cousins. I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it." He said, "Because some keep telling me to do it." He said, "But my mama and them keep saying that I've been delivered." That's what I'm talking about. The man was telling them they were sick. He kept saying, "I'm sick." But they kept telling him, "You done been baptized, you delivered." And he kept telling them, "Don't leave these kids around me. I'm sick." And sure enough, he touched on them again. And the investigators wanted to arrest the mama because he was telling them he was sick. That's why I said we got to protect our children at all costs. These girls don't know what love is. They looking for some love. They are. They looking for love in all the wrong places. And that's why they have all these babies, because they're looking for love. And then they have all these dudes who are emotionally unstable and messed up and has been abused themselves around their children. And then they end up molesting their little children because of learned behavior. They've been molested. And so they move him in, and then he started molesting her children. I've never understood how a woman could just, and this is just my opinion because I had work down there. I always say this: if a man done been in jail, and I ain't saying nothing to the men who done did a bid, I ain't talking, if you ain't never did nothing, and even if you have, that's your business. But as for me, I wouldn't touch a man that's been in jail past 6 months because I see what happened. I've seen what happened. Okay. But a lot of these women will move a man into their home somehow on a chat. They hook up. The man been in jail 25, 26 years. And they move him right in. And that man has some type of learned behavior. And he ain't interested in her until he find out she got little boys. But she can't even see that. She glad somebody need her. And that's all he need is a roof. But she ain't looking at this man moving into my house because he been in jail 26 years. He been getting off some kind of way. She don't think about that. And she got little boys. And so then he move in and he start messing up her little boys. You know, I know a lot of people don't particularly care for the police, and that's fine. But I've seen a whole lot of stuff. I know a lot of police officers are not bad, you know. But it's a lot of people who have committed crimes, because I've seen when, and I'm not saying that it's a good thing. I've seen when people would bring a lot of suspects up to, because police officers are human. I don't know what these new age ones doing, but back then the ones that I was working with, the old heads now, they didn't play, and they sure didn't play about the children. If they made a scene and you had molested a child, you was gonna stop at the med first. And what I can't, because they was gonna beat the hell out you. And what I can't understand is a lot of people hate the police so much they throw out all logic. That police had beat him up. What, he molested? He was in there raping a child. Okay, but they had beat him up. We gotta do something about the police. They forget about this 6-year-old child was just anally raped. And the police, because they're human beings, they see something like that, walk in, see a child bleeding out because that's a child, and some freak just tried to penetrate them, and they lost it and beat the hell out of him and sent his ass to the med. The people are mad. Oh, we got to do something about the police. Ain't even trying to protect the child when they should have put his ass to sleep. That's what they should have did permanently. And you got a child that's got to be in the hospital for months. Some of them, they mess up so bad because they're little. They can never have babies because they messed up their insides. But we're too busy trying to protect these criminals, y'all. That's why people don't necessarily take a lot of us seriously, because we're fighting for criminals. We don't fight for what we should be fighting for. Whew, y'all know how I am. I have to get off that subject because I be getting mad. I ain't mean to get into that either, but y'all know how I am. I'll take that charge any day for our children. Tanya G says, never understood why women marry men that's in jail. Right, you don't even know him, especially if he's been in jail for like 26 years. Like with Darius, dude, the police killed. He raped a child. I'm gonna tell you something. I think I might have said this before. I'll never forget. You had officers that was crying. There was a girl who had moved a man up into her home that she didn't even know and had a 6-month-old baby girl. She would leave the child there with him, didn't know him, moving him up in there while she went to work, a young girl. And the guy she moved up into the house, some women mental too. That's true. Yeah. A lot of women have mental issues too, but she moved the man up into the house. They was young, in their early 20s. The child was six months old. While she went to work, she would have him keeping the baby. And he rapes the baby. He probably had been doing little stuff he had no business doing to her, and decided he wanted to penetrate her. Now, I'm a mother with girls, okay? So I know at 6 months old, okay? I know at 6 months old because I have girls that a little girl ain't even open down there, okay? I know that they're not at 6 months. And so what he did was he raped the 6-month-old baby, and he broke her open. He ended up tearing her completely open. And after he tore that baby open and she was bleeding, he went to the Walmart and got needle and thread and tried to sew that baby back up. So not only did he hurt her once, he hurt her twice. When the officers got there, the mama came home, saw what was going on, called the police. When the officers got there, the baby was still bleeding, and they saw what was going on. It emotionally messed them up. They beat the hell out of that MF. Do you understand me? They should have put him to sleep permanently. But you have people that advocate and said that was police brutality when you got a child that's messed up for the rest of her life. Y'all, we got to come together on one accord and start fighting for what's right. And if y'all don't want the police to deal with them, we need to start find some kind of way to deal with criminals within the community. But I remember a time the gangs didn't let nobody mess with the women and the children. And when they had issues with each other, they came and they fought. They threw them hands. Everybody too scared to fight now because they scared of getting whooped. I grew up in the hood. I grew up fighting. I knew how to fight. I took some, but I went back until I got my lick back good. That's what we was taught. You go back until you win. I ain't saying that's right, but that's what happened back then. And then we could go out there and play hopscotch. She got me one time. I got her one time. Now let's go play hopscotch. That's what we did. Because now we even. But we didn't talk about no guns because we valued life. That's right, Robin. It begins with us. It begins with us. All right, you guys. We've been on here almost 3.5 hours. Every time I get ready to get off, we start talking about something else. Magname says, "I salute the officers who truly serve." Right, because there are some bad officers. It's a bad apple in every bunch on every job. I'm telling you, it is a bad apple in every bunch on every job. There are more women that are single parents in the home. And then people feel like now, because I heard a man get on my live the other day say, well, I took care of my kids when I was in jail because all they be wanting is money. No, we got to stop giving these kids everything and make them value something. See, that's what's going on now. A lot of parents feel like making them want for nothing and giving them everything is good parenting. And that's what's wrong. When somebody tell them no in the real world, they ready to kill them. Y'all, we got to do better. We got to do better. We do. And teach these men, these women got to stop allowing their sons, they got to stop allowing their sons to see them allowing men to dog them out, because that causes anger within the child. And then he repeats what he has seen. And now he done met somebody's good daughter and want to dog her out because he feel like that's what he's supposed to do. He feel like that's what he is supposed to do. And then when you grow up calling your daughters B's and H's, they answer to that when a man do it, because he ain't got no respect for no woman. Or they feel like if they see that happening to their mother, because the mothers are the models of their homes, period. She set the tone, the atmosphere for her home, period. The mama does. So they really looking at their mother. And if they're seeing their mother get beat up and dogged out, they feel like that's what's supposed to happen. And then it's like a generational curse. History repeats itself. So if we want better, y'all, it starts with us, because our generation, a lot of us are failing our generation. We are. A lot of us are failing our own race. We got to come together. We got to stop killing the competition, because it ain't going to do nothing but cause you to go to jail. With all this advanced technology, ain't nobody gonna be getting away with nothing pretty soon. They already got it. They been had it. They just utilizing it more now. They just utilizing it more. And so you're gonna have a son that's going away for the rest of his life before his life even gets started. If you validate your kids, these OGs and these fools can't send your kids out on dummy missions, because they're gonna know, now you can't send me out to kill nobody. I know that ain't no love. Because I value my life, they already value themselves. So it's going to have to start with us. It's got to start with us, y'all. All right, y'all. We've been on here almost 4 hours, y'all. Well, 3.5 hours. We've been on here almost 3.5 hours. That's true. That's why when those people say, when that prosecutor says the 2 people that killed young Dolph, we got them right in there, I believe him. I believe every word of it. People say, well, I think Cornelius didn't do it. You get to listen to some too long ago. Maybe they know, maybe he didn't. But then I think about what that prosecutor say. I go, well, the folks down there at the police department and the prosecutor say that it's him. We don't know what all he hadn't said, so we might know it's him. They might, he might have said it was him. Because I do know people will confess to stuff, and then when they get a defense attorney, he'll convince them to plead not guilty. Hardhead said it's hard to tell with mask on. Well, we'll see, Hardhead. Tamara, you ain't going nowhere. Stop lying to us. You can't get off. Every time I get ready to get off, we start talking about something else. I just pulled up Salute at Real Talk with Tamara. Thank you. The tweak ends here. Hakia, bring the BP back. Protect women and children. That's right. I'm gonna tell. See, men don't understand that women love it. I'm talking about good women. that understand. A lot of women are damaged, so a lot of them now, some of them when they've been damaged, they can't appreciate nothing good because they don't even love themselves. A lot of men don't know that. But women that appreciate good men, there's nothing better than when a man protects his woman and his children. When you know that you can trust him to make decisions because he's thinking about you and those kids. So you ain't got to worry about nothing. I hear women say all the time, especially older women that have good husbands, and I love it. Child, I ain't worried about that. My husband gonna figure it out. He got that. And they be just smiling and grinning. They love it. And those men love being able to make good decisions for their wives and their children. They love the fact that their women and their children depend on them. Yeah, they love it when their women and children depend on them. Lachelle, no, I'm not coming back tonight. I'm gonna be back. See, I'm not gonna be back tonight. And on Friday nights, everybody are out. Most people are out on Friday nights. I said I was gonna be back Saturday. McName A says it always attracts women to us men when they see we hold a woman down. Absolutely, absolutely. When they know he got her, and then you could get it. I mean, you won't have no issues with her, especially when she knows she can depend on you. You'd be surprised how she acts. Because I know we got a mouth on us, but most women, when we get nervous, we act out. You know, we feel like nobody got our back, and we can't depend on them. That will make her act out. But like I said, you know, when she knows she got somebody that got her back, you will see how the atmosphere changes. I'm telling you, because I'm a woman and I know. I ain't never been able to be with no man that I couldn't depend on or trust. I would go, this right here too much. He too ignorant. He too slow, a little stupid. I can't depend on him. He wishy washy. He ain't firm. You know, when he firm, baby, I said I got this. Okay, he said he got it. All right. We like that reassurance. Let me go sit down somewhere. He just put me in my place. All right. He said he got it. I know I've been acting up, but he told me to just sit down somewhere, girl. He was firing with her. I'm going to sit down. He got this. I love it. A lot of women won't say it, but it's the truth. But instead, now it's something in the atmosphere, and God got to change it, y'all. Women, we got to pray it back because we're the models. We got to pray. When somebody break into the house, now the men will go hide in the refrigerator and say, baby, get it. They hiding all behind the woman. Can't no woman respect that. Can't nobody respect that. I'm telling you, we do love it. I used to date this older guy, and he was firm too, but he was a good dude. He was just a little older. And people used to always go, why is it, you know, why is it that you still with him? He always telling you to sit down somewhere. They didn't know I was slick loving it because I love their reassurance. Baby, I told you, don't worry about that. They didn't know. In my mind, I was like, shoot, I love it when he do that because I know he got it. They didn't know I was enjoying that. And he always did have my back. We just weren't equally yoked. Um, there, that's what I'm talking about, bro. It's good for the heart. I can understand everything you're talking about. My sister knows she got a good husband. They've been together 20 some years. They opened up a restaurant in Gulfport, Mississippi, and it's called 12 Bones. Oh wow. Well, when I go down there, I gotta patronize that. My grandmother had a good husband. My granddaddy, he was a good man. And my grandmother, he was my grandma's second husband. And he was tall. He wasn't my mom's dad, but my grandmother got with him in the 70s before I was ever even born. And he was tall and dark. He was from Mississippi, real dark, real tall, with red eyes. And he never said more than 2 or 3 words. He was real quiet, but his statue spoke, right? He was not afraid of anything. And I went to Lanier Junior High School. And I remember my grandmother would call home every Friday and she would say, because he got off work at 2 o'clock. And by the time I got home from school, she'd be calling and she said, "Has he been home?" And I would go, "I don't know, mama," because I called my grandma mama too. I was like, "I don't know. Let me go look at your table." I knew if he had been home when he got off work, because she would call home every Friday. That means go see if he brought his check home. It would be 8 $100 bills laying on the table. And that's what he that was what he brought home every single Friday. When she called me and said, "Has he been home yet?" I already knew to go look at the table in the bedroom. Yeah, it's 8 $100 bills on the table, and that was to take care of the house. And that's how it was all the way up until he developed cancer and got sick and had to retire early from his job. That was a good man. Never said more than 2 3 words, but he was very firm. He was a hard worker. He was. 2004 was not a good year for me because that's the year we lost him. And all the way up until he died, he was a soldier. Because even when he had to retire, he made a garden in the backyard and we would go get him. He ain't even supposed to be back there. He had lost all his weight. And he would go, "I can't sit down. All I know to do is to provide for my family." He'd be back there planting tomatoes and greens and stuff. He just couldn't sit down. He was just a good man. He was. He was. And there was a lot of the time the money. That's how my grandfather did that money on the table and candy for the kid. Yeah. He would have 8 $100 bills. And then for me and my sister, he would leave $2. He was separated $2 on this side, $2 on that side. I already knew that was one of them was my $2. The $800 bills was my grandmother, $2 on one side of the table, $2 on the other side. I get my $2. My sister go back there every Friday to look for her too. He was a good man. But we knew we had to work though, like for what we wanted to. If he leads as the head, we'll right. That's what a lot of men don't understand. If he leads and he knows how to treat his woman, most men like to emotionally abuse their women. God ain't in that. When they sitting up, I can't deal with a man that's so quick to call women all out of their names. I don't deal with I almost said something. I almost said I don't deal with I ain't gonna say that because I'm from the hood. I will cuss. I don't deal with men that's emotionally under. You can't control your emotions. You too stupid. I don't deal with men like that. That means if you don't know nothing other than to call a woman out of her name and to get mad and start cussing her out as a man, you weak. You too weak. You can't even control yourself. I don't deal with men that can't control themselves. That's true, Hakia. You know what? Women used to always say that they're the hunters. Men are supposed to hunt their women. That's why when it's the other way around, it's always out of balance. It don't line up. You have women that's asking men to marry them now. That's why when the Bible says when a man finds a wife, he finds a good thing. He go and hunt for his own wife. He goes and hunt for his wife. We lost him in '06, and he was a soldier as well, all the way up until that time. I miss him so much. I miss my granddaddy a lot too. My dad is a provider too. My dad always worked very hard. My dad broke a lot of barriers coming from North Memphis. He broke a lot of barriers. He went all the way to the top. All the way. He did. He did. And I learned a lot from my dad. With him being in politics, I learned so much. I learned that it's just better to, I just learned the slimy and the grimy stuff that goes on behind the scene and how a lot of us as Black people are still impoverished because we elected a lot of these Black politicians who don't do nothing for our community and we trust them because they're Black. We vote based on parties and the Democrats screwing us over. I'm independent now. When people ask me, "You black? You supposed to be a Democrat?" So what the Democratic Party done did for me? Nothing. I'm independent. I'm voting for who gonna be for the people. We got to get out of habits like that. Hello, Jane Doe. Every cousin that I had in college, he would always give or leave $10 for them to have pocket change while on the road back to school. Wow. And I know you say when you come back, you was going to do. Yep, that's who I'm going to. Yeah, I think they go together. Lachelle, I think they go together. Catalina says, I miss mine and most of the men of my life. They were all strong constitution. Yeah. Miss T, that 3D crime scene thing is awesome. You know what? By Capricorn, they got some stuff that's out of this world. I told y'all the FBI got a some equipment that they can point at your home and see straight through your house, a brick home. They can see all the movement in your home. That's why I say I can't understand why a lot of, but then you have to think about too. You notice when they're like hostage situations and stuff, they call in special units. You know what I mean? When they got people in hostage situations and they do that for a reason. They call in special units. They do it for a reason. Hero Fix TV says you're following me all the way to the top. I'm glad to have you. I like to see everybody go straight to the top. It's enough room up there for everybody. I promise you. It is. Ron says that's scary. Ron, they been had it. They been had it. Catalina says, I believe it. I seen a fake ant. It was a drone. Wow. Magname said Obama passed that law to have that before he left out. It's time. I love your show, Tamara. Thank you. It's time. Yeah, they got a lot of stuff, y'all. They got a lot of stuff that they use. That's why I said there should not be any crimes unsolved. I've never doubted that there's corruption in everywhere, especially with a lot of these politicians. They get into office so that they can pass laws. We got to start vetting them ourselves and stop voting for people because people tell us to. A lot of these politicians have found a way to get into the back pockets of the a lot of these big pastors with these big congregations, and they pay them, and this is the truth, and I ain't talking about all of them, but a lot of them, and they pay them to convince their people in their church to vote for them. That's right, Hakia. My mom always taught me that. A man get mad and call me out of my name, if that has ever happened, that's it. And not even when I've had like arguments with people that I wasn't dating, especially if it was a man, if he get mad and he called me out of my name, we can't be cool, period. You go talk to your mom and them like that. You don't talk to me like that. So it ain't no coming back from that, because that means he can't control himself and he will do it again. That's learned behavior. Because I've seen men get mad and they'll walk away before they say something bad. That's a man that's controlled, because you got women that get them out of control now, because they'll be walking behind them because they want a reaction. That's a toxic woman. But most men that are in control, mature men, they know how to walk away. They'll say, let me leave before I say the wrong thing. Let me go before I get out of control. Or if they go back and forth with you, they just don't use abusive language. That's somebody that has heard their mother be disrespected oftentimes and abused. Also, I may get attacked, but women are taught to imagine. Well, I agree with you on that. A lot of women now have been taught to emasculate men. That's true. because women have a lot of power with men now. By Capricorn, they do. A lot of men care about what they listens to what their women say. They do, and they emasculate them because they may be making more money or something like that. They're very damaged and toxic, and so they try to emasculate their man. You're right, and they got to stop doing that. If you can't expect, as women, you can't be talking crazy to your husband and your man and calling him all out of his name and not expect for him to do it back to you. Or it's just disrespectful anyway. When a woman get mad at a man, her man, the first thing she'll do is call him a B, call him all kinds of B's and H's. That's emasculating him. You don't pay nothing, I pay everything. That ain't got no business happening anyways. But with a real man, because I know some women make more money than their women, but you have, I mean, yeah, some women will make more money than their men. I'm sorry. And they'll throw that up in his face. You ain't making nothing anyway. What a man trying. I'd rather have an honest check with peace, somebody that's trying, that's coming, that's paying bills and stuff. I might be making more, but at least he's trying to provide. Let that man, do what he can. Stop emasculating him, because he's doing the best he can with what he got. Right. It ain't good. You have a lot of women doing that. And unfortunately, in this new generation, you have a lot of women, these girls. I was looking at and it was so sad. I was looking at this young lady on a show, and she was talking about this person that's famous at this point. He's infamous, really, that she had had sex with him when he was on the run. And I was looking at a little bit of that, and um the host had asked her something. I can't remember verbatim. She was like, I don't give a F. I F all of them if they got some money. And I know she got to be in her early 20s. That's what I'm talking about. Like, what is happening, to our young women? They focus more on things instead of self-love. They don't have no value for themselves. You just don't give your goodies to everybody and let all those different souls and stuff up in you and spirits. But they ain't been taught that. They doing anything for money, anything. And that's what's going on even within the young Dolph case. With a lot of these kids, they do anything for some money. All they already jealous and hating. All they need is some motivation, which is some money to destroy lives, because people don't value people anymore. They value things. And that's what's being put into the atmosphere. You need to have Gucci. They go kill somebody just so they can be able to get on Instagram and show that they got a pair of Gucci boots. Now I got to go kill another person. I get me a Gucci coat. That's why I say the people that's paying them to do this need to be in jail too. And I'm glad the police are on to them. It's a crying shame what's going on. It is. All right, y'all. I'm getting ready to get off for real this time, y'all. I have enjoyed being on here with y'all. I really did enjoy y'all today. I was only intending to be on here for like 30 minutes because I wanted to get on and encourage you all, but we have been on here 4 hours. I got to get off. I will be back on Saturday. How about that? For those of you all that's getting ready to just, I pray God's blessings over y'all for the rest of the day. I pray God's blessings on you all, on your families, and I ask that you take God before you. Ask God to go before you wherever you got to go, because it's so dangerous out there. A lot of y'all are off work. A lot of y'all are getting ready to go to work. So I ask that you all put God first. I love you all. Have a good day.